won against Briggs. It's a terrible decision, one that went against them. So he's more than that. You look at the two great figures that we've lost in Ricky Henderson, who was an A's fan, was Ricky, watch Ricky this, Ricky that, and then George Foreman. Everything that he meant to America, not just winning the flag, not going out and making tons of money because he won as an American, but what he represented to people who had kids. And I appreciate your time, and the Warrior loves your show, man. You are such an amazing person, and I'm sure without even meeting you that you're twice the person that you are a host, and the Warrior appreciates your time.
Warrior, very kind of you, and great insight, by the way, on the legendary George Foreman. That's really well said. It's a great snapshot of what he meant to so many people in the 70s and even the 90s. I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't around for him when he was fighting Frazier, when he was fighting Ali, but I certainly remember him in the 90s, and there was nobody like him. That's for sure. Again, number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN. You know, at some point I'm going to memorize that, I promise, for 888-710-4ISN. By the way, we do have someone new who is working with us in Sophia. I want to apologize if I am butchering your last name. I promise I'm not intentionally trying to do this. Ginoscoli? Ginoscoli. I'm sorry. Well, welcome to the Good Shepherd. It's great to have you. There's a lot of moving parts. You probably don't even. So as I was running back and forth trying to get this YouTube stream.
Yeah. Did you get it?
I got it. We're on YouTube.
Okay.
I got it. But that's what it takes. That's what it takes to put together a good show. So listen, we got a lot of phone calls, but I'm curious from your perspective. You've been someone that has been on the air.
Yeah.
You're someone that obviously has good chops for radio. You're a sports fan. You're a little younger than I am.
Yeah.
But what did George Foreman mean to you? And welcome to the Good Shepherd, by the way, and the Infinity Sports Network.
Hey, well, thank you so much. Also, Carlos gave me a little stream lesson before he left, so I know how to put myself on the stream. Can I do it?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
You know how to? You can do that from in there?
It's now me.
Wait. But make sure both of us are on the stream, though. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can switch cameras.
Okay,
Very cinematic.
So right now you and I are both live on YouTube. It's not just good.
It should be.
Because I've worked with people in the past, and Sophia, they try to sabotage me. They take it off me and they put it on themselves in the control room. Chris Persianen, not going to name any names, but keep going. Great job, by the way, on that.
Thank you. So, yes, I mean the first kind of memory I even have of George Foreman myself is my mom purchasing a George Foreman grill, of course, when I was a child. But he's just been this like endless iconic figure, always present in popular culture in America, and I think all over the world too. And it's like unbelievable. Like you said, he was 76, but it's still like it feels too soon. Like it's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
And for us, 76 doesn't seem old.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem young.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when 38 seemed really old. You know what I mean? I'm 38. So 76 for some people. Like Sister Jean. You know how old Sister Jean is?
No.
She's 105. She's 105. Yeah. I mean, like, that's what I thought George Foreman would make. Like, that's what I thought Ricky Henderson would make, because they were invincible. Mm-hmm. They were absolutely invincible. I thought Richard Simmons, he was someone that I thought was going to live forever, too.
I know. That one shook me, too.
Yeah. Now, Jimmy Carter did live forever. Like, that's another one I felt like was going to live forever. So, I'm glad you brought that up, because from a commercial perspective, what George Foreman meant in entertainment was ginormous. I mean, he had like 2 feature films about him. I'm just settling for like a short documentary if I can ever get that. And so there's a running joke for some people here, but it's not a running joke for me. If you ever hear people bring up me trying to get LeBron James on the show, that's not a gag. Like that's not like something that I'm trying to orchestrate for fun. I'm really trying to get that.
Okay.
So if I can get LeBron James, that would be like someone else's equivalency of having a feature film on them. So cross your fingers, hope for the best. Number to get aboard is, you know what? I gotta write this down. I gotta write this down.
I still don't know it.
888-710-4476. You're gonna hear this guy a lot. Let's get to a friend of the show, Greg in Michigan. Greg, good morning, man. How you doing, brother?
Shep, baby, it's the Warrior, Mr. Positive.
So, Greg, I know you as the Warrior, but someone else literally just called as the Warrior, so you can't be Warrior 2.0. You got to be Mr. Positive.
You got that right, but hats off to my man, Warrior. I know his story. He's got a beautiful soul. Hey, Shep, baby, George Foreman. I love the new young lady, Sophia. She sounds very sweet. And welcome aboard, Sophia.
She's good on the air, by the way.
Yes, she is.
Like,
got
most
a nice voice
most people are nervous when they get on the airwaves on a national platform. They may be stammering, they may be saying us. It's like she's a professional.
Yes, she is. George Foreman, a storied career. The rumble in the jungle. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Oh my God! The events that he's been in.
I'm already out of breath running back and forth, getting this YouTube streak. Greg, don't do that to me. I didn't have a Mr. Positive impersonating Howard Cosell on my bingo card for the Good Shepherd on Saturday. Man, that was not bad.
Thank you.
Hey, Greg, you're a sports historian.
I try to be.
Greatest boxer of all time: Ali, Marciano, Sugar Ray, Floyd. Who's the best boxer for you? Where do you put George Foreman in that conversation?
Heavyweights, top 5, but the greatest has to be Ali.
I forgot about Joe Louis, by the way. Joe Louis has to be in that conversation too.
Yes, yeah. He's top 5. He would be in the top 3. Marciano was too small, 5'10", 180 pounds. Ali would have cut him up. Here's the thing, Shep, baby. Ali could beat anybody. He might lose to you once or twice, but he'll come back and beat you over and over and over because he'll outsmart you, outthink you, and just get inside your mind. Tyson was that way, but Ali, with that jab, the movement, the flicking, the cutting, the panache, the way he could, do the with his legs and the feet.
Greg, we talk about what ifs. We talk about what ifs all the time in sports.
Yes.
What if Tiger Woods, had a upstanding marriage, right? Much different career. What if Muhammad Ali heroically never sacrificed his career to, avoid going to Vietnam? What if Mike Tyson, didn't lose Customato, right? Like, those are the big what ifs. And I've always been curious, if Muhammad Ali didn't lose those 3 years, what kind of a career? Now, from a social macro perspective, he wouldn't have had the same societal impact. But I'm curious what his boxing career would have been, because I don't see him losing to Frazier at all if he's consistently a constant in boxing. He doesn't have to step away for 3 years.
Shep, great spot-on insight. Hey, love you. Everybody, go for your dreams.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Shep.
We love you, brother. Always good to hear from Greg in Michigan, a.k.a. Mr. Positive. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4476. That's 888-710-4ISN. Let's keep it going. I know a lot of people want to weigh in on George Foreman. Let's get to Doug on the West Coast. Doug, it's not good morning. It's good evening to you. And how you doing, sir? What do you want to say about George Foreman?
I'm doing great, Shep, and I just want to thank you, man. It's good to hear your voice, by the way. I listen to you. Used to listen to you all the time with JR, but
yeah, JR's. Thanks for the kind words, Doug. It's interesting you bring up JR. And I don't know if you heard me in the opening segment of the show, but I had an even more of a respect for George Foreman because I saw the way that George treated JR, and I saw how he conducted himself and how he was timely, he was professional, he was courteous. And listen, and I'm as big a JR fan as they get. You know that, but George Foreman doesn't need JR. George Foreman doesn't need anybody. He's George Foreman. So,
but you wouldn't have known that by the interview.
No, not at all. So that was very inspiring to see someone that famous, who's been around the world, who is literally known by one name in the boxing world as George, and for him to just treat JR like he's known him his whole life. That says more about George than anything I'll read in print or any movie I'll see about him.
Oh, absolutely, man. I want to tell you, you brought back some old memories, and I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Doug.
Just got off work and just trying to chill and relax.
Yeah.
And,
what do you do for work? What do you do for work that you're getting off at 11 o'clock at night your time?
Man, I did a 15-hour day today. We had an emergency, so I'm a
damn. Are you like a physician that I'm unaware of? That's impressive. 15 hours?
No, I'm the facilities maintenance man at a laboratory. So we got to keep the place running, Yeah, well, you are one of the unsung heroes, Doug. I'm sure you're appreciated for what you do. I appreciate you because I know people like you are the backbone of
any venture because you got to have a working building with lights, with heat, with electricity before you have anything else. So God bless you, Doug. And I appreciate the call, man. Thank you, buddy.
Well, I appreciate you, buddy. Take care.
Thanks, Doug. You as well, man. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN. At some point, that's going to roll off my tongue. 888-710-4476. Let's get to Chris in Jacksonville. Chris, good morning, man. How you doing? What do you want to say about George Foreman?
Oh, I wasn't going to talk about George Foreman. I was going to talk about the Jags.
Oh, why?
Oh, the draft coming up. I was wanting to know about your opinion on what they're going to do with it.
I got to be honest with you. I'm so far removed from Jacksonville Jaguars right now. I have a question, Chris.
I'll tell you what. Hey, I can switch gears. No problem.
No. But let me just say this. So, here's what I know. That shoulder, his third year for Trevor Lawrence's career, he never looked the same after that. He never looked the same. Now, listen, you can't blame the coach anymore. Doug Peterson's off the ship, right? So what I know is, you got to have continuity. You got to have consistency. When you were a number 1 overall draft pick, and unfortunately he gets stuck with Urban Meyer, you know that was a recipe for disaster his first year. But at some point, we can't keep blaming the head coaches, Chris. So in terms of Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence has to be accurate with the football, and he has to be someone that doesn't continue to get worse by the year. It doesn't matter who you draft. He's got to be okay up in here. And you can't see to where I'm pointing because you're probably not on the YouTube chat, Chris, but you got to be good in the head. And what I mean by that is you have to have mental toughness and you have to have a short-term memory. He doesn't seem to have that right now. That's their biggest problem because you can draft whoever you want. You can draft edge rushers. You can draft offensive linemen. You got to have quarterback play in 2025. That's your biggest issue right now, and he is fading. He's not getting better where a guy going into year 5 should be.
Yeah, I just think it comes down to him needing the protection. I was going to say we're mocked to get Mason Graham at 5, but that's rich at D tackle when you consider how loaded it is in the second round. I would say trade back if Travis Hunter's not there and get two offensive linemen in your first 4 picks, and then get more picks in the first 100 anyway.
Yeah,
because the thing is, when you give him that much money, and he did, it's all about him now. So you have to protect him. And I'm telling you, I've seen mental toughness out of him. He just got his bell rung out of it last year. So if he can just stay upright, he can elevate the receivers, and we can win the division.
That's fair.
Thanks, Shepard, for taking my call.
My
Next
pleasure.
time I'll talk about George Foreman.
Well, Chris, listen, we're probably not going to talk about George Foreman for a long time, so get your thoughts out on that for right now. Give me 30 seconds. What was your big impression of George Foreman's legacy in and outside of the ring?
Yeah, I remember when I was really training. I was inspired by the movie The Greatest about Muhammad Ali, and they showed how he took that loss. He took it like a man, and then it affected him for a while. But he came back, and yeah, obviously I bought the grill. But I just didn't remember. I just remember people talking about. They talked about Mike Tyson being a second-year George Foreman, how hard he hit.
Yeah, well, Chris, I'm so glad you said that because the famous philosophy about Mike Tyson as a boxer was he was so powerful and so all-encompassing that when he would hit you, you would always fall to the canvas, but you would first fall up, then you would fall down. But George Foreman was really the first guy to do that. So I'm glad that you illustrated that so eloquently. Chris, man, I appreciate the call. Glad we got your George Foreman thoughts in as well. You take care and stay warm in Jacksonville, man. It's got to be nice having spring in the South. We don't have it here yet, so I'm glad you have it. Number to get aboard, you guys know at this point, same as usual, 888-710-4ISN. That is 888-710-4476. We're going to get to more of your George Foreman calls on the other side. We are also going to discuss the madness that is March. We had 2 major upsets on Thursday and Friday. We'll certainly give you the details on that. But before I do anything else, now, we haven't met, have we?
No, we have not yet.
What's your name?
I am Justin. Nice to meet you, David.
Just nice to meet you as well, Justin. I would shake your hand, but I'm coughing a little bit because I've been running around trying to take care of so many things for the show.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to get you sick.
I appreciate that.
So where you coming from, man?
I live in Brooklyn right now. Grew up just over the bridge in Closter, New Jersey, in Bergen County. So this is my first week here at ISN and first week at WFAN as well. So it's been
very nice.
Been a lot of fun. And no, thanks for having me aboard. Thanks for having me, my man.
Listen, I know you're going to be professional, and you're always going to keep it above belt. So I respect that. For a lot of people, when they get in this building and they see WFAN and they see Infinity Sports Network, I mean, these are institutions. These
Absolutely.
are 2 really big brands. Has it lived up to the hype?
It has lived up to the hype and more. It has been such an incredible first couple of days here. Everyone here has been so unbelievably wonderful, and it's just been so much fun and ready to keep getting rolling. And as I get started over here,
that's awesome, Justin. Well, what's your last name, man?
Rock. Believe it or not.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that. I mean,
Justin Rock.
You know you're meant to be behind a microphone if your last name is Rock, because a lot of people switch their names in show business to Rock. That's your birth name. That's pretty cool.
Well, I will say a funny nugget on that is that most of my family actually does not have that last name. Most of my family's last name is Rockenmacher. My grandfather changed it around World War II to Rock. So I thank my grandfather of blessed memory for changing that last name, and having Justin Rock rolls off a little bit more of the tongue than Justin Rockenmacher.
That's a cool name, too, though.
Absolutely.
It sounds like something out of Henry Rowan-Gardner's movie in 1993, The Rookie.
Oh, absolutely.
Rowan, remember how they had 7 different variations of Rowan Gardner?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it sounds like. Welcome, Justin.
Well, thank you so much, David. I appreciate you, my friend.
My pleasure, man. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN. That is 888-710-44.
Infinity Sports Network.
Do me a favor, so you can turn that off for 1 second.
Sports Flash.
Thank you. Okay, so phone number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. So we're going to do this on the fly together, Sophia. So what I will do is throw to you, and then that's when you hit the music. Very good. So you guys know the phone number. On the other side, we are going to discuss what is taking place in the Madness of March. We had 2 major upsets, but there is a story that has trumped all of that. It involves a student manager. We'll get to the latest on the other side. Before we do anything else, let's get to our latest sports flash. Here is Justin Rock.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
Thanks, David. A riddle sponsored by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com. The round of 64 coming to a close Friday. The biggest upset, the 12-seed Colorado State stunning Memphis.
Out between the circles. Clifford picks up his dribble. Over to Evans on the left side. Evans look back toward Clifford. Puts it on the deck. Dribbling left. Danger steps up. Evans step back 3 from the wing. Got it again. Kyan Evans with 21. 64-54. Colorado State up 10.
Call on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. Colorado State is 78-70 winner. New Mexico over Marquette 75-66. Alabama survives 15-seed Robert Morris 90-81. Iowa State downs Lipscomb 82-55. Maryland over Grand Canyon 81-49. Ole Miss holds off North Carolina 71-64. Baylor squeaks past Mississippi State 75-72. Top seed Duke dominates Mount St. Mary's 93-49. Cooper Flagg 14-7 in his return. Florida does the same 95-69 over Norfolk State. Kentucky over Troy 76-57. Arizona 93-68 winner over Akron. UConn's three-peat dreams alive, beating Oklahoma 67-58. Illinois over Xavier 86-73. Michigan State battles past Bryan 87-62. Oregon an 81-52 winner against Liberty. NFL Giants getting ready to eat some W's. Jameis Winston signing a 2-year deal worth $8 million per multiple reports. Giants in on Aaron Rodgers still, though Rodgers spending Friday at the Steelers facility. Brandon Cooks returning to the Saints, a 2-year $13 million deal. NBA Steph Curry, an MRI confirmed a pelvic contusion. No structural damage. He'll miss the start of the Warriors' 6-game road trip. NBA tonight, Magic over the Wizards 120-105. Rockets best the Heat 102-98. T-Wolves throttle the Pelicans 134-93. Thunder top the Hornets 141-106. Spurs over the Sixers 128-120. Mavs push past the Pistons 123-117. Celtics without Jaylen Brown clobber the Jazz 121-99. Suns hand the Cavs their 4th straight loss 123-112. Donovan Mitchell 2 of 18 shooting. Kevin Durant with 42. Blazers blast the Nuggets 128-109. Clippers best the Grizzlies 128-108. One NHL game. Penguins top the Blue Jackets 6-3. And in boxing, as you heard right here with David just a few moments ago, 2-time world heavyweight champ and Olympic gold medalist George Foreman has passed away at the age of 76. I'm Justin Rock.
This is JR from the JR Sport Brief. The Infinity Sports Network is on your smart speaker. Just say, play the Infinity Sports Network for the best in sports talk and entertainment.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You are amazing, man. Every second I have to wait on the phone line for you, whether it's an hour or two, every second is worth it, man. Just get to talk to you.
Connor, feelings mutual. All right? Know that.
This is the Good Shepherd. 855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us, the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. We were going to talk more March Madness, but I'm touched how many people actually have been waiting patiently to want to talk about George Foreman. If you get an opportunity and you can't get through our busy phone lines, and they're usually pretty busy on weekends, you can always hit us up on our YouTube chat. You can listen for free on the Odyssey app. You can get us on SiriusXM 375. I would encourage you, at some point, if you have the technology available, go to that YouTube chat, and you will get like the skinny of the show. Like you will get the show behind the show, and it's always entertaining for me. You know, I glance at it pretty much every break. Sophia, have you had an opportunity to check out the YouTube chat?
No, I got to pull it up.
Okay. So just know it's some very interesting characters. They don't mean half of what they say.
Okay.
They have really wild, outlandish sense of humors, but it's a really cool community.
I'm excited.
They're very nice people.
Okay,
but
cool.
they do a lot of jokes, and sometimes, Sophia, as you would not be shocked, they're at my expense. It's my hair, my shirt's too tight.
You have great hair.
Thank you. They call me Sheppenwolf.
Okay. No, that's cool, though. I like that.
I appreciate that. So just be ready for anything on that YouTube chat.
I'm ready.
There's a guy named Daly. He thinks he runs everything.
Oh.
We love Daly, but he's not going to call the show for some reason on this particular morning.
Okay.
Go figure. And shout out to Bobby and Drunkle Sam and Two Tone and, and AM and all you wonderful people. General Custer, there's so many people on that chat that I go back and forth with that I always love interacting with. Number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Let's get to Racine in Oregon. Racine, thank you for your patience.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Racine, how old are you?
11.
Wow, good for you. And you're up this late?
Late. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you're probably not old enough to remember George Foreman live, so what'd you want to say about him?
I don't really know because I never watched them before.
Okay.
I was going to talk about the Oregon Ducks tonight.
Okay, very cool, man. Yeah, they're very consistent. Now, I hear myself talking, so do you have me on speaker?
Yeah.
Okay, so do me a favor. So do your best to take yourself off speaker so you don't hear me twice. Some people don't want to hear. Thank you, Racine. What'd you want to say about them, man? Very, very impressive. They're obviously a team that hasn't won a national title in forever. It's going to be a fascinating matchup. We're used to talking about them in the Pac-12 versus Arizona. That's no longer the case. I'm not used to the Oregon Ducks being in the Big Ten, but apparently it's working out well so far. They're 1-0 in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think we're doing really good in the Big Ten in more than just basketball. Also, of course, football.
Well, you like Dan Lanning? You think he's the best coach in college football?
Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, definitely. It's like. And the coach George, I forgot his name because I had it in my head.
Yeah, hey, Racine, let me ask you one more question, man. Do you miss Bo Nix?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Well, listen, man, I don't want to keep you up too late, but I appreciate you calling into the Good Shepherd, Racine. It's really cool to get to talk to someone who's so mature and so smart. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you're calling in at 11 years old is something you should be really proud of, man. It was good talking with you, and you call back anytime, okay, Racine?
Oh, got it.
Thanks, buddy. Good to hear from you, man. Number to get, you never know how those are going to go, but he was pretty good. Number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Daily, you do not have to call in. I'm just giving you a hard time. Let's get to MC in Winston-Salem. MC, good morning. How you doing? What you got for us?
Good morning. I'm doing well. I appreciate you handling the young caller the way you did because my memories of George Foreman go back to when I was almost 8. The first Olympics I really remember.
Wow.
It was in the Western Hemisphere.
So you are 50.
Live feeds.
So you are 64.
I'm over 64.
Good for you, MC.
Yeah. All right. I didn't call to talk about me, though. I'm going to talk about Foreman.
Let's hear it.
That was a very interesting time, of course, to be alive with Vietnam and, a real active threat to the Western world. But in boxing, if you had 2 Warsaw Pact judges or Cuban and whatever, you had to knock the guy out, okay? Well, Foreman could handle that kind of task.
It wasn't, MC, it wasn't, excuse me for interrupting you for a second, but it wasn't boxing today where it just seems like they're more interested in holding each other up and just getting through the rounds so they make their payday.
Well, I'm going Olympics on you,
Yeah.
And you measure an athlete by who can beat them. And he lost to Bo, which someone already brought that up. That might be a disputed one. He lost to Holyfield, a true champion and warrior and a medalist himself. Bo was too. He lost to Ali, light heavyweight medalist in 60, the self-proclaimed greatest of all time. That's up to debate. And he lost to Jimmy Young, who was very hungry after he had lost to that was really the fight that when he left boxing, he shouldn't have lost to Jimmy Young, maybe, but Jimmy Young was hungry, and that Foreman was, he was having motivation issues. I cannot remember the other person who beat him. It doesn't matter, but he was great. And I'll tell you something else. He came back to boxing because his family, he wasn't broke, and he understood about the dangers of gladiatorial sports. And he had taken some advice, and he had a 20-year, $50,000 annuity. Well, he had more kids than he expected.
Yeah, I think he had more kids than anyone expected.
I got one last thing to say about him, if you'll let me.
Yes, sir.
The good Shepard, which you can't say TG. He learned from Ali. He didn't rope a dope. He had a walking, you can be the dope, and he threw those big arms up and let people wear themselves out like he did in Kinshasa that night, and then he'd knock them out. He'd put them to sleep. And he was a great man and a great American, and he loved people. He was proud and humble both. Thank you for who you are. Have a great day.
Thanks, MC. That was a great call. Very poignant, very on the mark in terms of what George Foreman represented in life, in the ring, and outside of it. Let's get to Tanner in California. Tanner, hope you're having a good night so far on the West Coast. How you doing? What you got for us, sir?
Good. How you doing, good Shepard?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Tanner. What'd you want to share about George Foreman, man?
Well, my youngest son is, and I'm kind of past I was born in 92, so I'm a little bit past. I barely saw a little bit of George Foreman, but I'm trying to work with my son, and then the George Foreman grill, that was kind of our once we got that, and then we started to use it, and then he was all about it, and like, who's George Foreman? Oh, let me tell you. And just to be able to bond over that, and what a sad day that tonight is. Boxing legend that you can't, especially with kids, you try to teach them or have them do with only you can imagine with what they did, and it's amazing. It's a sad day, but you're a great guy, good Shepard. I loved you with JR. It was a sad day tonight.
Yeah,
but
no,
more so that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Tanner. I had a whole new perspective on George because, and I said this in the last segment. JR was fortunate enough to. And JR, he books the A-listers, right? He's had Kobe, he's had Melo, he's had everybody, and he had George Foreman.
And you were right there with him.
Thank you, Tanner. Thank you. And so, but I remember, you learn a lot about someone by how they conduct themselves when they're not in front of a camera or on a microphone, and to see George Foreman invested so much in the interview. Like, he's George Foreman, right? You say George in boxing, everyone knows you're talking about Big George. You don't have to have any kind of one-sentence description.
Don't say anything
more.
No,
absolutely not. But for him...
Nothing more.
For him to understand the impact that JR was having, and that it was so unique what JR was doing as a host, I felt that there was this connection those guys had in the interview. And part of that is because JR is so personable, but part of it is because George just wanted to make everyone's life better. And for someone that was in such a brutal time in boxing, that was brutal, man. Athletes weren't looked after. They weren't.
No. Boxers were nothing back then. Or not nothing, but more just, it wasn't as what it is now.
No, not even close. And you can make an argument that Bob Arum's made it worse, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But I learned a lot about George Foreman in that interview, being able to interact with him, see him with JR. That was very special. Again, rest in peace, Big George Foreman. Tanner, great call on your part, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Keep doing your good work, Shep.
Thank you, Tanner. Expect nothing less, man. Every single show, I promise you that. Number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. And when we get back, we're still going to get your calls on George Foreman. What has been the most exciting thing for you about the NCAA tournament? Well, for me, it's a student manager on McNeese State. We get to that next. Good Shepard, Infinity Sports Network. We're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind.
to the Good Shepherd.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Great to be with you, wherever and however you may be consuming our program. Now, we have a new phone number, 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. As you know, when I do the show, it's not just my voice, it's your voice. It is Sophia Janoscali's voice. I got that right? Yes? No?
No, Janoscali.
Oh, no.
It's okay.
Janoscali. Okay, got it. I'm not getting that wrong again. Folks, just want to remind everybody, this portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com. Now, we do have some people that have been waiting patiently on hold that want to talk George Foreman. We're going to get to your calls momentarily. I do want to talk about, so far, to me, what has been the shining moment of the NCAA tournament so far. McNeese State, they got a lot going on right now. They got a coach in Will Wade that was a big-time coach at LSU, and he is somebody that has really turned around this program because there were recruiting violations, and so LSU needed to part ways, and he needed a landing spot. Well, he has more than landed at McNeese State. He is going to be coaching NC State very soon. But for now, he's coaching this team, a 12 seed that just knocked off a 5 seed. And it's the biggest upset so far in the tournament. But that's not why people are talking about this particular program. Why people are talking about this particular program is an individual named Amir Khan. Now, Amir Khan is a.k.a. Aura. He's a student manager. And he's someone that has taken the sporting world by storm through his personality, through his work ethic. And that is what the best part about this time of year is, especially in college basketball. You give a spotlight and a platform to student athletes, and I understand there's NIL deals, up to wazoo, but they're still student athletes. But they become household names overnight, and it usually lasts 2-3 weeks, and then you forget about them. For some cases, forever, but for others, they go to the NBA, but you don't hear from them in the 9 months in between. But these kids aren't used to this kind of acclaim. They're not used to being followed around by national publications and huge fan bases. But that's the beauty of McNeese State. Now, there's exceptions to that. You talk about the brands like UNC and Duke, Kentucky, the Blue Bloods. I would consider UConn a Blue Blood. Congratulations to Danny Hurley and company for getting 13 straight wins now in the NCAA tournament. We'll see how that stands against Florida on Sunday. We'll certainly preview that. But when you have schools like McNeese State, let's just be honest, if you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, you probably cannot tell me one thing about that school before Thursday. Let's just keep it real about that. But this kid, who's a student manager, becomes the first student manager ever to get NIL deals. Now, Buffalo Wild Wings, Tick Pick with a T, and Insomnia Cookies. So that's pretty special, man. And he's leading the locker room. Usually it's the head coach you see in college football, or it's the captain, or it's somebody, who is the best player. But in their case, it's the student manager. And I think it's really special that in an age where it's all about look at me and all about highlighting the stars, that they're willing to take a step back and let the student manager shine. I think that embodies what March Madness is all about. Now, you talk about his personality. He's a little camera shy, but it works. He just comes off as himself. He's the real deal. Take a listen to what he sounded like and how much his teammates, who are players, prop him up when he's getting interviewed by John Fanta here on Fox Sports.
What is it like being with? What's this guy like for you guys? What's he mean to you?
Oh, talk to him. He's Aura. This is Aura right here.
Tell me what he means.
This is really my man. Hey, this my man. Hey, he be in the gym early every day. He getting rebounds. Like, he for real. When he said he had Wilt Chamberlain numbers, he really lived by that. Like, for real. Like, tell him, boy, pop it.
Yeah, it means a lot. I never expected any attention really as a manager. So to receive all the love and support I received over the last few weeks, it means a lot to me. But I'm really just focused on trying to do what I do for the team and helping them so they can do what they can on the court.
Sophia, when you were, what's been the most gut-wrenching job you've ever had where you felt like it was the most thankless?
Oh, Lord. Working at TJ Maxx.
What'd you do there?
I was a cashier.
Oh, wow. So how did people treat you when you were a cashier? How did customers relate to you?
Okay, well, the TJ Maxx I worked at was in a particular part of New Jersey where people are very like snooty,
sure,
and rude, and I won't say where. But they just don't really care. They want what they need from you in that moment, and then if you can't provide them with that answer or that thing, they're angry, and then they like stomp off and want to talk to a manager.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here.
Sure.
It feels like they treat you like the help.
Yes.
Okay. So it's interesting you say that because we've all had those kind of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like yourself. I wasn't born with a silver spoon, you know, in my mouth, and I've worked in laundromats. You know, I've worked as a soccer referee.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked as someone who has clean buildings. Like I've worked in sandwich shops. You know, I know what it's like to have those jobs, and they're not well paid, and there's no kind of gratitude ever. And you feel like you get bleeped on all the time because people treat you like you're less than. And that's what's so cool about this story for Amir Khan is as a student, I feel like we're having a parade out there.
I know.
As a student manager, for him to be propped up like he's one of the guys, and for them to take a step back and allow him to shine and have that spotlight, I think that says more about McNeese State than any game they'll play, than any press conference they'll do, any charity function they show up to. It's a beautiful thing to see someone who is a student manager. It's a thankless job, folks. Like, you're in charge of the laundry, you're in charge of wiping the floor when there's too much sweat on the court. It's not exactly a glamorous job. You couldn't pay most people to do that job today. You couldn't. And what's fascinating about this is as I get older, I don't know about your experience, but as I get older, and it's not just like a get off my line generational thing, I find that the next generation, they want to be stars off the jump. They want to be stars the nanosecond they put their mind to something, and that's not how it works. But with social media being as it is, that's the way people think it works. And to see a kid who's 21, 22, work this hard, be this diligent, consider himself to be the Wilt Chamberlain of student managers, where he sees a sweat, he is literally sprinting to wherever that spot is on the floor, making sure it's clean for his team to succeed. You love that because there's an old school American work ethic about that. It doesn't even have to be an American work ethic. There's just a blue-collared work ethic about that. And for him to then be singing lyrics one day, and for that to be seen by 250,000 people in like one day on Twitter alone, X, whatever you want to call it, I think that to me is without question the story of the tournament so far. And, you know, McNeese State, it speaks to who they are as a program. You know, Will Wade, he was a guy that, you know, a couple of years ago was seen as untouchable, right? He had problems at LSU, recruiting violations. He wasn't getting another opportunity. But McNeese welcomed his personality. They welcomed his unique, you know, demeanor. And they're obviously doing that with Amir Khan. So, you know, a young man 2 months ago that was doing thankless tasks that no one heard of, for him to be a student manager and have 3 NIL deals and be trading cards with tops, it's remarkable that someone of this position could become the story of the NCAA tournament. He's being talked about more than Cooper Flagg. I'm not kidding. He's in more articles right now. He's doing more interviews. He's getting more media attention than anybody in college basketball. More than Tom Izzo. I mean, maybe the only exception to the same guy getting as much attention would be Rick Pitino because he happens to be in New York. So he's doing every single New York media outlet, whether it's CBS Morning, whether it's The Tonight Show. Other than that, I can't think of one person that's getting more attention. And it does speak to the spirit of the NCAA tournament, of the underdog, getting the spotlight, getting center attention. I love it. I think it's so good for the sport. It's refreshing. Again, a young man that didn't seek the spotlight, it found him. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. We will get to the 2 big upsets so far of the NCAA tournament. One, Colorado State, of course, taking out Memphis, a top-tier team in the AAC. I did not see that coming. And also, again, the aforementioned McNeese State over Clemson. We will get to those games on the other side. We do have people that have been waiting patiently. They want to talk about George Foreman, want to talk about the NCAA. Let's get to Rob in Connecticut. Rob, I appreciate your patience. It's always good to hear from you, my friend. What you got for us, sir?
Hello, Shep. What's going on tonight?
Not much, man. Just, recapping a lot what's going on in the NCAA tournament, and I'm saddened over George Foreman. I didn't think he would go this young.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, first off, I wanted to say that one of the main reasons why I called, because a couple nights ago I called up. I wanted to make sure the Warrior, who's up in Alberta, Canada, got a message. I know he had left from, I think it was New Mexico or Arizona or something, and he had just lost his wife. And I wanted to give him a message. I called up the Bart Winkler show. I was hoping he was listening to me. I wanted to wish him luck on his travels and safely get to Canada. My heart is with him because I know he just lost his wife. So, Warrior, if you're listening to me right now, I am Rob from Connecticut. And I'm also known as the Blind Rhino because I bowl blind. So everybody calls me the Blind Rhino. So I'm letting everybody know out there.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm glad to hear that you got there safely.
Awesome setup, Rob. Hey, Rob, hey, I got an important question. What's your high score in bowling?
Right now, I just started bowling back in December. I thought I'd never be able to bowl again.
Yeah.
But right now, last week I had a 137, and I had 5 strikes in that game.
You had a 137?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really...
And that's without the bumpers. That's without the bumpers.
I listen, Rob. You're a man's man. I would never assume you would ever use the bumpers. Come on now.
And I'm still pushing it. And yes, George Foreman. The only thing I really do remember about him, he was a great boxer. Rumble in the Jungle. I was 9 years old. I remember Dad watching it, and it was a big to do back then and everything. And I'm going to end it with this: the manager that brought me back. I was actually an equipment manager back in '84. I was a senior in high school for J.L. McCullough High School in Texas, the Woodlands. I could not play football after my freshman year because I have a bad hip, so I couldn't play, so I wanted to be an equipment manager, and that's what I wound up doing for McCullough High School, the Highlanders. And
sure.
I got them all fired up before the games, and all the players loved me, and it was probably my highlight of the senior year. Texas high school football was awesome. I miss those guys immensely, and that just brought back memories because, yeah, sometimes, we are put off to the side, but you know what? It was a great job to have. And also, as far as the tournament goes, I was listening. I listened to it on Westwood One.
Sure.
And
Duke is looking.
Game was unbelievable.
Yeah,
that game was unbelievable.
Sure.
The guys from Louisiana.
Yeah,
they're on it. They're on it.
It's Rob. There's not as many upsets as in years past, and you would think with NIL, with how easy it is to now be part of that transfer portal, you would think teams would have such a leg up in rebooting every single year, but that's not the case. There's really only been 3 upsets, and I don't even consider one of them major, and that, of course, was Drake over Missouri, not the rapper, but the school.
Yeah.
I didn't consider that much of an upset. I mean, the biggest upset was a 12 over a 5. I mean, I remember in years past, you'd see multiple times where you'd see a 2 seed go down and a 3 seed go down. The worst upset we got was a 5 over a 12, and those 5s weren't going anywhere. I mean, no disrespect to Memphis or Clemson. I don't think they were anything close to legit contenders for the tournament. So that's right. Interesting. To me, this Calipari-Patino matchup is fascinating because what people don't realize is Calipari is a better coach than he gets credit for, and Patino is more petty than he gets credit for too, because they do not like each other. And everyone knows it. And because Patino, he felt like Cal kind of brought his own culture, his own system to Kentucky, and he didn't really appreciate the guys of yesteryear, the Adolph Rupps, the Joby Halls, the Rick Pittinos, the Tubby Smiths. But it's interesting because they're both 2-2 against each other in the NCAA tournament, and I got to give John Calipari credit because I'm on him all the time about being a lousy coach and a really good recruiter. he's done a good job this year. Like they were like 0-5 at one point against like ranked opponents. So for them to get by in the NCAA tournament over a juggernaut like Kansas, and I know it's a down year for Kansas. I know they've had 8 losses against ranked opponents, so it's not like Kansas of 3 years ago when they won the national title. But for them to get by Kansas his first year there, it's a pretty good job out of John Calipari. I got to give him some credit. I also got to give some credit for Bronny James while I'm at it. 17 points off the bench. It's pretty good, Rob.
Yeah, I heard that. I was actually talking about him tonight with a friend, and I said, Bronny doesn't belong on the court. And then he said, well, he scored 17 points the other day. I said, okay,
Right.
I'll take my words back.
Yeah, well,
But,
he belonged on the court that night for sure, Rob. Hey, always great
go
to hear
Red
from
Storm.
you. That's
Hey,
right.
Go Red Storm.
Hey,
go Red Storm.
listen, St. John's, Rick Pitino, they are unbelievable. They win by 30 easily, so we'll see what happens. Rob, appreciate the phone call as always, man.
Hey,
you have a
thank
good rest
you.
of your morning. Thank you.
And good luck to Sophia as well.
She's doing a really good job so far, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
She's great. Absolutely. Thank you for the call, Rob. Number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Let's get to Dick in Eugene, Oregon. Dick, hope you're having a good morning. And what do you have for us, sir?
Yeah, hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call, and Sophie, too. Appreciate it. I just want to congratulate the Lady Ducks and the men for advancing in their respective NCAA tournaments. Things will get a lot tougher for both teams. But anyway, I wanted to thank you for talking about George Foreman. I must say I appreciated the spiritual side of George Foreman. He talked unashamedly about his relationship with Christ, and I really appreciate that, just like Jesus talked about in the book of John. But anyway, he, as you may know, he had a near-death experience in his life. And after that, he said he was born again as a Christian, and then he became a minister later on. So he became a shepherd of a different sort. And if I might say so, he not only knew the good shepherd, but he's with him tonight.
I like the play on words. Dick, it's a conversation I have with friends of mine and family all the time. Not all the time, but frequently enough. What happens after this? Where do we go from here? And I'm not smart enough to know that. I do know that it's always about living in the present and making each day a masterpiece. And this is something that, and the reason I bring that up is because you look at this individual's life, what he was able to do through ministry, what he was able to do through entrepreneurship, what he was able to do as a dad. They don't make him like this, man. Like he's like, he broke the mold, and I don't know if you heard me at the beginning of the show, Dick, but what I particularly really respected and appreciated about George Foreman was that it was tough to make out the words of Muhammad Ali when he was unfortunately suffering from Parkinson's disease. It was really tough in the 90s. And obviously after that, forget about it. You just couldn't understand what he was saying, not because it was any fault of his own, but just because of, unfortunately, what he was dealing with. And Joe Frazier slowed down a lot too. You could tell physically boxing had really gotten to him. It had really punished him. But you put George with those two guys, and you got magic. It's like Ali and Frazier. They transformed back to a time when they were kids again. And you see interviews with Ali and Frazier back, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and you'd always see George with them. And George understood that for the sake of the sport, we need to make sure these two guys continue to get their flowers because they are the most important boxers, arguably in the history of the sport, not just in the heavyweight division. And George always embraced that. And you could tell he would always want to be by their side when they would do interviews. And I think that's something that is very special. You're not teammates in boxing. George Foreman was absolutely a teammate of Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali.
Well, you're right. Well said. Boy, that's true. Yeah. Well, Shep, thank you for you're my caffeine. I stay up late Friday and Saturday nights all because of you. So
I appreciate that, Dick. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much, Dick in Eugene, Oregon. And call back anytime, man. Appreciate the kind words again. Number to get aboard: 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. So, Sophia, the YouTube chat. This is AM. This is Andrea from Berkeley, and she's going to use some jargon that you probably never heard of.
Okay.
So just be ready for that. So Andrea in Berkeley, it's always good to hear from you. Good morning. What do you have for us on the astrology report on the Good Shepherd?
Yes, good morning. Sophia, when's your birthday?
My birthday is August 26th.
Oh, very nice. A fellow Virgo. Nice to meet you.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, Virgo in service, always being of service and very helpful and right woman for the job. So good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And opposites attract. Shep's a Pisces, 0 degrees Pisces, and very soulful tributes. That was another beautiful one. I'll tell you, you can have a second career, Shep, if you ever want one.
Thanks,
doing
Andrea.
these beautiful, empathetic.
Andrew, that's very kind of you. In fairness, it's not hard to really crystallize and signify what George Foreman stood for, what he did for his career. He was larger than life. So to be able to depict that, I think it's like shooting fish in a barrel when it comes to someone's life like a George Foreman, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he was larger than life, but still, your words were very, emotional and evocative and sensitive. So we appreciate that. And
you think LeBron? You think LeBron's listening? You think he maybe liked those words and might want to come on with me? Because everything, every show, I'm going to get in a LeBron compliment. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to keep this going, Andrea. I'm going to keep this going. So yeah.
Interesting. I'm glad you just mentioned that because LeBron's a Capricorn like George Foreman was. So let's put out some flattering words for Capricorn
there
energy.
You go. You know what? When I'm reaching out to the Lakers PR for the 5th time, what I'm going to say is, it's not the 5th time, it's actually be the 3rd. What I'm going to say is, we have a really diligent caller and listener of the show, and she talks about what makes LeBron such a strong Capricorn. So maybe, and I understand that's completely out of left field, but that's a kind of request he's never gotten before. So that might do the trick, Andrea.
Yes. Now that you mention it, something different. Yeah, another tool in the tool bag.
There you go.
Yeah. So Capricorns, just so you know, are very responsible and systematic and hardworking and accomplishing, successful. And George Foreman was born January 10, 1949. And what's interesting at his moon in Gemini, so the George Foreman grill, Gemini, they're restless and easily bored. They want to do more than one thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. I remember growing up with the George Foreman grill and hearing about it.
Sure.
And, what was that? The Rumble in the Jungle?
Rumble in the Jungle, yes. The Thriller in Manila was Ali Frazier, but the Rumble in the Jungle, yeah.
Yeah, it was
that was Foreman. That was down. Yeah, that was an all-time great rope-a-dope. Yeah. Yeah,
it was just interesting to learn about his life path and his accomplishments, and the Foreman grill, and just really a very spiritual person, and a lot of humility and purpose, and very humanitarian in his own way. So it's nice to give him that tribute. And he was from Texas. That's interesting. Yeah. Began his boxing career as an Olympic gold medalist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right, and stopped Joe Frazier in 1973. Yeah, so just quite an aura he had. Yeah,
it's ironic because the guy that's taken everyone by storm, his nickname the Aura in Amir Khan, and it's ironic that you bring up Aura. I mean, I've never seen a story like this where a student manager has become the face of college basketball for a few weeks. So unfortunately, it's going to end for McNeese State because I don't see them getting past the second weekend. But we shall see. Andrea, it's
and if you find out his birthday, please let me know. Aura?
We'll do. Andrea, always good to hear from you. By the way, I heard you on with Maggie Perloff.
That's right. We were trying to track down his birthday.
Do you ever sleep?
Not much. I'm a Virgo. 4 planets in Virgo.
I don't know what that means. I'm not an astrologist.
That means we don't sleep. We work and work.
But wait a minute. But don't you have to give energy to your brain? Doesn't your body have to recover? You of all people, who's in the spirit and the world of mental health and physical well-being, shouldn't you be rejuvenating yourself by getting enough sleep, Andrea?
Yeah, I'm a night owl, so...
But that doesn't mean you can't get any sleep.
Right, so I take like a nice soothing lavender Epsom salt bath after.
You take the cat naps, is what you're saying.
No, I take a nice bath to relax me, and then I'm able to sleep after all. I turn off the technology after about 3 or 4 in the morning. Smart. And then I do a cleansing and a healing and a lavender bath soak. I have my Virgo rituals, and it was just spring equinox.
All right.
So I stayed up till 5 a.m. getting my newsletter out. Hope you got yours, and if anyone would want theirs, let me know. Free spring equinox newsletter has all the Mercury retrograde days, all the full moons. It's Very informative.
Andrea, just like George Foreman was one of a kind, you are one of a kind. Thank you for the phone call. Always good to hear from you.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Thanks, Andrea. Good to hear from you in Berkeley. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. When we get back, we're going to talk about the biggest upsets in the NCAA tournament so far, and that is the definition of what is madness in March. We do that on the other side. This is The Good Shepherd. If you can't get through our busy phone lines again at 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476, you can always reach me at Shep on Air on any social media platform. You can also hit us up on our YouTube chat anytime on the Infinity Sports Network page. We're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Let's get to the busy phone lines. Gilberto in San Diego.
Listen, I've been trying to reach you for 2 weeks on the show, but I call early because once you start going on, the lines are busy all the time.
This is the Good Shepherd. 855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us, the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. Again, that's 888-710-4476. Going to get back to the busy phone lines momentarily. I do want to talk about the two major upsets of the NCAA tournament so far. Now, to me, this isn't the best part of the NCAA tournament. The best part to me is the love, the shine, the adulation, the attention that Amir Khan is getting as a student manager of McNeese State. But they have pulled off an upset. I believe the biggest upset so far of the tournament when they defeated Clemson. Now, for them to hold Clemson to 13 first-half points is remarkable, especially when Clemson put up a 50-plus point spot in the second half. But McNeese, to Will Wade's credit, this is a good example of what it means to be effective when it comes to the transfer portal. Because if you look at the talent on this team, a lot of it comes from guys who have been at major programs before. And there's a reason why they were able to get out by 24 points in terms of having a lead in the first half. It is their first victory ever for the school in the NCAA tournament. So this is very special. They've been around for more than 50 years. And, you know, Brandon Murray, I mean, this is somebody who is now on his fourth school. He's played at major programs. He's played at Ole Miss. He's played at LSU. He's played at Georgetown. So he was the difference maker in this game. He had 14 of his 21 points in the first half. Again, I just said Clemson scored 13 as a team in the first half, so he outscored everybody on the Tigers squad by himself in the first half. If that's not being weak in an NCAA tournament game, I don't know what is. And very, very rarely will you see anybody get held to 13 first-half points. I don't think I've ever seen that from anyone that's not a double-digit seed. As a 5 seed, that's just flat-out embarrassing. And listen, I mean, if you think you're going to win by having one made basket over an 8-minute stretch in the first half, like Clemson just simply did not show up. And an even bigger takeaway from me of this is that the ACC stinks. North Carolina lost. Right? Louisville, they lost. Now Clemson loses. Outside of Duke, the ACC has become essentially a laughingstock. And you look at what they are compared to the SEC, this ain't football. I'm talking basketball. I mean, it's a joke. So this is embarrassing that Duke actually went 19-1 in conference play in the ACC this year. They should have gone 20-0 because they're the only competition in that conference. Now, I said this before, I feel like Will Wade got a raw deal. I think all of these individuals in college basketball, and it goes back all the way to Bob Knight, even before Bob Knight, but even Bob Knight, the most, estimable figure there is in coaching in terms of following rules and living by the letter of the law, even he would look the other way at certain things. If you're hired, you are always looking to gain a competitive advantage, and Will Wade, unfortunately, got busted at LSU, and they completely hang him out to dry. And so for him to bounce back in the fashion that he has, good on him. There's a reason why he's going to NC State as soon as this tournament is over. But to make the NCAA tournament not once but twice in your only 2 years there, and then to be the coach who oversees the program that wins for the first time in school history, he's got a lot to be proud of. The three-point game is not just something that is so well established in the NBA, it's also translated to the college game. And the fact that they held Clemson to 1 of 15 from 3 in the first half. That is a defense that knows how to guard the perimeter. Now, they do play Purdue next, and we all remember Purdue was the first team to lose to a 16 team, and their coach, Mr. Painter, he's still there. So we'll see what happens. I give McNeese State a shot. I really do. And you look at what they did in non-conference play. They went 9-5. Now, this wasn't this year. This was last year, but they did go to Ann Arbor and beat Michigan in 2023. So I'm not ruling them out. Certainly, this is a hell of a win for a very up-and-coming program, certainly the most talked-about program in the NCAA tournament so far. This is Will Wade after the win.
A great game for us. Our first half was pretty flawless defensively. We've been saving that zone all year. We hadn't played it. We hadn't played the 2-3 zone all year. We just kind of put it in. We put it in for some stuff in the conference tournament. We never used it, and we thought this would be a good time to pull it out. And so our guys did a great job executing, and so we hit our benchmarks.
You certainly did, and that was not the only 5 seed to get upset by a 12 seed. On Friday, we saw Penny Hardaway's Memphis Tigers get knocked off by the Mountain West's Colorado State. I did not see this one coming. Shout out to Nick Clifford. He was the Mountain West Tournament MVP. He did not have his best scoring game, but he did do a little bit of everything. 14 points. He added 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and then you can't say enough good things about Kyan Evans, somebody who ultimately connected on a career high 6 made 3-pointers. So Colorado State, they now extend their winning streak to 11 games, and they advance to the second round of the NCAA tournament for the first time in 12 years. Now, this is a great win for Colorado State, but before we bury Penny Hardaway, because he has come up short in the NCAA tournament before when he was expected to win, we all remember that back-and-forth game between Florida Atlantic University. It is worth noting their veteran, their floor leader, Tyrese Hunter, he was not available, unfortunately, for the last 2 games. He's been in a boot. So all things considered, this was a really good season for Memphis and Penny Hardaway. I'm always going to root for that guy because I loved him. Tyra Banks fool. Sorry, that was my best Chris Rock impression. But when you look at Penny Hardaway, I'm very impressed with the job that he's done as a coach. It doesn't always work that way when you're a star player and you're able to have immediate success as a coach in the college level. He could be in the NBA if he wanted coaching somewhere, but the fact that he elects to be with student athletes, I think, says a lot about him. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass because, again, you don't have your floor leader in Tyrese Hunter. That's unfortunate. But the Rams, they simply took over in the second half. They're deep. You had 7 players who ultimately scored in the first 8 minutes as Colorado State really took it to them in the second half and turned what was a 6-point lead by Memphis into a 6-point lead of their own for Colorado State, and they never looked back. And I actually had Nico Medved on the show last year on the Good Shepherd. Let's hear from him after another 12-5 upset.
Man, this is what it's all about, the biggest stage and these guys finding a way to get the job done. And, these guys will tell you, I really challenged ourselves at halftime, this group. I thought, they were a lot tougher than we were that last 7 minutes of the first half. And like this group always does, you challenge them, they look at each other, we all respond as a group, and boy, did we respond in the second half. And I thought down the stretch in the last 8 to 10 minutes, we were the team that was getting the loose balls and the 50-50 plays.
Congratulations, Coach Medved. I know that you won your first game in the first 4 last year, but for you to have your first victory in the NCAA tournament in 12 years, congratulations on a job well done. Again, folks, we are talking NCAA tournament. As I look at the phone number again, 888-710-4ISN. Again, that's 888-710-4476. When you look at this particular NCAA tournament in 2025, what has been your biggest impression so far? What's been the best part about it for you? To me, I've said it many times, Amir Khan, the student manager of McNeese State, becoming a household name. The biggest surprises for me have been Memphis going down to Colorado State, have certainly been, Drake overcoming Missouri. And then the biggest shocker of them all is McNeese State holding the Clemson Tigers to 13 first-half points and ultimately prevailing 69-67. That was very impressive. What has impressed you the most about the NCAA tournament? We're going to get to your calls on the other side. Also, at the top, we have a message from Duke. I believe so far they have proved everybody why they are the team to beat. It's not Auburn. It's not Florida. It's not Houston. It's not Michigan State. It is not St. John's. It is Duke. What they are doing right now is scary good. And it's even more impressive because there's not a single team remaining from the ACC after the first 2 days of the tournament outside of Duke. They ran away with the ACC tournament. They ran away with the ACC regular season. They're going to run away with the NCAA tournament. I will explain next why on the other side. Again, phone number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. Before we do anything else and get back to your calls, let's get to our latest sports flash. Here is Justin Rock.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Hey, David, round of 64 in the men's tournament coming to a close tonight. It was a nail-biter down to the wire between St. Mary's and Vanderbilt.
It's picked off the ground by Huffman.
No timeouts.
7 seconds to go. Huffman throws out, but blocked at a three. Shot, no good. Rebound down to Ross. And that is the ball game. St. Mary's hangs on.
Call on the Westwood One NCAA radio network. Gales survived 59-56, 12-seed Colorado State, the biggest upset of the day, 78-70 over Memphis. Michigan State, big second half downs Bryan, 87-62. Oregon over Liberty, 81-52. UConn wins their 13th straight tournament game, 67-59 against Oklahoma. Illinois clocked Xavier, 86-73. 10th-seed New Mexico over Marquette, 75-66. Alabama survives 15th-seed Robert Morris, 90-81. Iowa State downs Lipscomb, 82-55. Maryland over Grand Canyon, 81-49. Ole Miss holds off North Carolina, 71-64. Baylor squeaks past Mississippi State, 75-72. Top seed Duke dominates Mount St. Mary's, 93-49. Florida does the same, 95-69 over Norfolk State. Kentucky over Troy, 76-57. Arizona, a 93-68 winner over Akron. NFL, a new QB for the Giants. Jameis Winston reportedly gets a 2-year deal worth $8 million. Giants not out of the Aaron Rodgers running, though. The 41-year-old did spend 6 hours visiting the Steelers facility on Friday. Brandon Cooks returning to the team that drafted him. The receiver getting a 2-year, $13 million contract from the Saints. NBA, Steph Curry underwent an MRI to confirm a pelvic contusion. No structural damage. The Warriors guard to miss the start of their 6-game road trip. Finals in the NBA, Magic over the Wizards, 120-105. Rockets best the Heat, 102-98. T-Wolves throttle the Pelicans, 134-93. Thunder top the Hornets, 141-106. Spurs over the Sixers, 128-120. Mavs push past the Pistons, 123-117. Celtics clobber the Jazz without Jaylen Brown, 121-99. Suns hand the Cavs their 4th straight loss, 123-112. Kevin Durant with 42. Blazers blast the Nuggets, 128-109. Clippers best the Grizzlies, 128-108. One NHL game, Penguins top the Blue Jackets, 6-3. And in boxing, the 2-time world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist George Foreman has passed away at the age of 76. I'm Justin Rock.
This is JR from the JR Sport Brief. The Infinity Sports Network is on your smart speaker. Just say, play the Infinity Sports Network for the best in sports talk and entertainment.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Let's get to Zeke in Maryland.
First off, I want to say you are by far the best talk radio host I've ever heard. And I mean that genuinely because you know why? You don't talk down to your people, you talk with them. And I commend you for that.
This is the Good Shepherd. 855-212-4227. That's the number to get in touch with us, the Infinity Sports Network.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. So it's a good point that you make, Sophia. So we'll get rid of the number part. So you can either cut that off yourself or just play ones that don't have that phone number, because we have a new number now. And that's 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. Change is good. Now, we don't have change with this guy. So this guy's name is Beck, and this is the one guy, one gal, you never have to put anything under the topic. This is the one exception, because he will never, ever talk about what he's going to tell you he's going to talk about. So I just want to pre-warn you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Beck, how we doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man? Of course, you just mentioned it. The new number threw me off. But rest in peace, George. Of course, your dog is named George.
Yes,
but was going to grill up something tonight, maybe on the George Foreman grill. But I realized I'm not in Tallahassee and in college anymore. that's a funny story if nobody knows about Hulk Hogan and everything else. I think it's been talked on the crappy guy Levitard from down here and everything. But how
you really feel
Hulk
about the
Hogan,
guy? Yeah.
How Hulk Hogan got the blender deal and how George Foreman got the George Foreman deal. That's a great story if anybody doesn't know that.
Hey,
and
Beck. Hey, Beck.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. That was my best. That was the best Hulk Hogan impression I could do. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard you got a guy on the show tonight that you had some impressions of last week. Greg from somewhere, but we won't talk about that.
I don't even know what you're talking about. By the way, this is breaking news for people. I don't think your real name is Beck because I got an email from you as a different name.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You just don't care to admit that you know what I'm talking about, but you know what your first name is, and I don't think it's Beck.
Number one, I don't see you. Again, this is live. We can't make this up. But again, back to last week, and again, if we want to go to the chat group, again, you said your or our Alex, not my Alex.
Yeah,
but,
your brother Alex. Can you just admit? Can you just tell us who you are in the chat, please? Who are you?
No, but see.
Because no one likes a Beck. No one likes a lurcher. No one likes an alias. Just tell us who you are in the chat. Who are you?
Okay. I'm going to explain it. So, again, we're going to cut all basketball. I guess I'm going to have to keep it tomorrow because we're going to end this. So, again, to go back to last week and then multiple weeks or whatever else, again, some guy called it, or our Alex or whatever else, and he says, hey, you're Madison Square Garden.
Alex in Miami. Alex in Miami. Yeah, I like Alex in Miami. I know who exactly you're talking about, yes.
Right, but that's not my Alex, but he is an Alex of the 305.
Right.
And he said that, and he says, and you guys, and your Alex says Beck doesn't have social media. Yes, that is true. I have no social media.
You do have but you have an email because I got an email from you. I know what your real name is, and it's not Beck. I know this Beck.
Okay, but back to the chat.
Yeah.
That's how I mentioned Theo Vaughn, because he had Danny McBride on last week, and that's how we got the Theo McBride.
Right.
Danny McBride says, "Hey,
Beck, I got to tell you, this is such a beautiful tribute.
And he lurked.
Yep, this is such a beautiful tribute to George Foreman. I got to tell you, you're really encapsulating what made him so special. This is great. Thank you. I don't know how the hell Danny McBride and Theo Vaughn and Hulk Hogan have anything to do with George Foreman, Beck.
Well, we didn't know this. George Foreman just died a couple hours ago. We didn't know.
But you know his career, Beck. Say something about the man. Say how he won a gold medal. Say how he's a two-time heavyweight champion. Say how he won a championship as a heavyweight when he was 45. Talk about his 68 career knockouts. Give me something.
You're the one that turned it to, again, me, the social media side of things. And again, this, regardless of George Foreman dying, I'm sorry, whatever else. But again, that's what it is. I'm not on the chat because I don't have social media. One day, hopefully tomorrow, maybe I sign up for YouTube and I have an account tomorrow.
It would be so much fun to get you in that YouTube chat. With that being said, unfortunately, I feel like I'm Jimmy Kimmel talking to Matt Damon. We're out of time. We're out of time, Beck. Beck, we'll talk about Rick Pitino beating John Calipari in about 20 hours from now. Sound good?
And Houston and Tennessee tomorrow.
Well, good. Look forward to it. Love you, Beck. Always good to hear from you in Florida. Number to get aboard. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. We're getting to all your calls on the other side. And the most impressive team to me in the NCAA tournament so far, it's Duke, it's Shire, it's Flagg. That's next. Good Shepard. We're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you can lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day.
Back to the Good Shepherd.
Hey, that's me. Number to get aboard, as you know, as I'm still realizing, because I'm getting used to the new number. Great to be with you, by the way, however and wherever you may be listening from. 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. we're going to start this hour. We're going to get to calls, but I really want to highlight Duke because I have been very, very impressed by them. The story of the tournament coming in was Cooper Flagg and the ankle and him coming back from injury. But you look at what they just did to Mount St. Mary's in decimating them, 93-49. I mean, that sounds like a video game score, and that's not supposed to happen when your best player is getting back for the first time in a couple weeks and he only plays half the game. That's how good Duke is right now. And they got not one, not two, not just Cooper Flagg, not just Con Knippel, but they got an individual in Tyrese Proctor that is also an all ACC caliber player. That's their third best player. He was the guy that had a game high 19 points. That's how scary Duke is right now. And this game was quite frankly over when they got out to a 13-2 lead. They were in their element. They were shooting 50% from long range with obviously an individual in Tyrese Proctor going 6 of 8 from downtown. And what's going to be interesting is Baylor, who I think is really well coached. You know, obviously you talk about Scott Drew. He's won a national championship. He actually faced Duke in the Elite Eight because it was Matt Painter in the Sweet 16. It was Scott Drew in the Elite Eight in 2010, and then you felt like he was going to take that next step. It took him about 11 years to ultimately take that next step, but then he wins a national championship. So it's not going to be an easy out in the round of 32, but nonetheless, Duke is going to prevail with ease. You know, they didn't even need Cooper Flagg to win this game, but it was encouraging to see what he looked like with the left ankle, not just in terms of explosiveness, but his ability to cut backdoor and such. And so what you love about Duke is not only can they make the three, but they can defend the three. They were able to hold Mount St. Mary's to 5 of 27 from three. Not one single starter was able to finish with double digits. That is called lockdown defense. I will say this about Duke. I said it last year when I knew they were going to get Cooper Flagg. I'm saying this year. This is a very special squad. 2006. Sophia, you remember what you were doing in 2006?
I believe I was 8.
Very cool. Very cool. That's the last time Duke won the ACC regular season outright along with the conference tournament. That was obviously 19 years ago. Long time ago. They did that this year. And this is Duke. So the bar is as high as it gets in college basketball. On the men's side. You can talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks. You can talk about the UConn Women Huskies. You can certainly talk about Tennessee Volunteers. There's a lot of great women's programs. By the way, we're going to talk about Juju Watkins at some point. Because she has an opportunity to do something that not even Caitlin Clark did. We'll get into that as the shows progress in the weekends to come, because I see them making a deep run with Lindsey Gottlieb again. But the truth of the matter is, I haven't seen a Duke team this good. Even when they had Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, I don't remember them being this lethal, this explosive, this well-balanced, this well-coached. Yeah, I said well-coached in John Shire over Coach K. He is the guy. He is truly the heir apparent. This is a very, very special squad. And you talk about playing clean basketball, 21 assists, 2 turnovers, and then that Cooper Flagg guy played half the game, still finished with 14 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Great game if you are Duke. Let's hear from the soon-to-be #1 overall draft pick. Here's Cooper Flagg.
I thought we kind of just came out, executed our game plan, did what we were trying to do. We didn't take them lightly. We came out, we executed, and we just jumped out to it. But, yeah, I think it was great execution by us.
So that's the good. That's the good from the ACC tournament. To me, Duke looks more dangerous than anybody. Now, there's another ACC school team that does not look that good, and that is UNC. They looked like they belonged in the second half against Ole Miss. Problem was they did not show up in the first half. Now, in fairness, they did win their first 4 win, but I don't think anybody, including Marshall from Milwaukee, who I know listens regularly to this show, he knows this. No Tar Heel alum or current student is complacent with winning one of the first 4 games. They want to win in the NCAA tournament. So for you to be down 22 points in the first half, that's unacceptable for a UNC coach team, especially in the first round. And you allow an 11-0 run early and often? Like, where's the sense of urgency? There was none. And you wish R.J. Davis would go out on a better note. He is the ACC all-time leader in games played. He's the second leading scorer in the history of the ACC. And you know, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, among others, they've had some very special players in this conference. So you hate to see him go out like that. What this continues to show is that the SEC is just 10 times better than the ACC this year. The only exception to that, of course, is Duke. And any time you come into a season like the Tar Heels and you are one of the top 10 teams in the AP poll, you got to make it out of the first round of the NCAA tournament. So this is without question a disappointing year. I know Hubert Davis made a Sweet 16 recently. Obviously, his first year, he made it all the way to a national title game. There is rightfully going to be questions about Hubert. We know he's an all-time great human being, but I don't know if he's the best fit for this particular UNC squad. When you are picked to be one of the top 10 teams in the country, and before ACC regular season play, you're not even in the top 25 anymore. You're not even ranked. That's troubling. And if you're Hubert Davis, he's going to always keep it positive. He's going to always keep the message on point about the quality and the character of his student athletes. I don't think that's what UNC sports fans want to hear right about now. Let's hear from the UNC Tar Heel head coach, unfortunately, after another early exit in the NCAA tournament.
They brought the physical, competitive fight in the first half. Every category, every angle in regards to physicality, they not only won in the first half, they dominated us. And there was only two choices coming out in the second half, either to respond with that same type of fight or get embarrassed. And I was really proud of how our guys fought back competitively and got back into the game.
Sophia, do you know what the concept of quad one is in college basketball?
No.
I didn't either for a while. So it's like this new thing. So it's when you play a team at home and that team is in the top 30, or when you play on a neutral site and that team's in the top 50, or when you go on the road and they're a top 75 team. So when you play someone of that caliber, either at home, neutral ground, away, that's called a quad one game.
Okay.
UNC's record in quad one games, and this is very telling, this is why a lot of people feel like they should never have been in the NCAA tournament to begin with, is 1-12.
Oh.
It's not good.
No, it's not at all.
No. It's laughable.
It is.
If you're UNC, that's laughable. Again, you feel bad for RJ Davis. Incredible career there, but that's not what anyone's going to be talking about. They're going to be talking about Hubert Davis, whether or not he's on the hot seat, whether he's the right voice for this particular squad. And I'm sorry, but if you're making 5 threes, per game in the NCAA tournament, that's not going to win in 2025. And it's unfortunate because you were lights out against San Diego State when you made 14. This is very disappointing for UNC. Want to make sure we talk about them because they're a brand. They should have been playing deep into this tournament, and the ACC has fallen by the wayside. Again, the only hope, the only life they have are the Duke Blue Devils. To me, the most impressive team of the NCAA tournament so far. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. And Sophia, I'm going to try again. I don't know why I struggle with this. It's like, I feel like I'm like Rick Ankiel. And do you get that reference?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, look at you, old school baseball fan. I love it. Sophia Jin O Scully.
Close.
Oh.
The closest you've been thus far.
Say it again, please.
Janoskally.
Oh my God, how am I not getting that? Sophia Janoskally. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean, I got Mamu's name on the San Antonio Spurs, but I got to get Janoskally right. It's one of those things where like, your doubt creeps into your head, and you're like, Shep, you ain't getting this tonight. Don't even try. Sophia Janoskally.
Yeah. The chat was saying, just call her Sophia G.
No.
But then someone was like, that's a great last name. And I was like,
it is a great last name. That's why I should get it. There's Lisa G, who used to be.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
So you're a Howard Stern fan, too.
I am.
I probably have a better chance of getting him on the show than LeBron James. Nobody get bored.
I don't know. He doesn't leave his house.
That's true. But, that's how I began my career.
Really?
I applied to every single station, and I applied to be an intern for him. And then this woman, Suzette, I won't say her last name, got back to me, and she's like, "Hey, like what you did in college, you're not going to get paid, but you can intern for Howard." So
that is so cool.
But when you intern for him, you don't meet him.
No, of course not.
He's still got his fastball. I'm not just saying that because I want to be liked and well received by people that listen to Howard Stern. Like, he is still really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's still really good. It's amazing. How much longer do you think he does this?
I don't know. He's already been doing it for so long.
Yes.
Like a very long time.
He's been national since before both of us were born.
Yeah.
Which is,
I think he'll do it until he, drops out at the mic, honestly.
Okay. Fair enough. That's a hot take right there. Get aboard 888-710-4ISN. Now, Sophia G is a cop-out. Sophia Janoskally.
There you go. Yeah, come on now.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, try again until you get it.
Exactly.
Because life ain't worth anything unless you're trying.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to JT in Atlanta. Again, phone number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I am with Sophia Janoskally as well. Let's get to JT. JT, thanks for your patience, man. How you doing? What you got for us, sir?
What's going on, Shep? Hey, man, I definitely want to. I feel kind of like I'm your good luck charm because I was going to help you, but you don't need my help. You got this. Like, I was going to try to break it down phonetically, like gin, like the alcohol.
Hey,
like, how are we going to do
JT,
this so that
you're right, JT. And I wasn't going to do this till the next segment, but let's do it now since you're bringing this up. First of all, thank you for your kind words and your positive attitude as always, my man. So, Sophia, how long you been here now? How long you been in Infinity?
I have been here almost 2 months.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
You've been here I feel like you got here last week. You've been here for 2 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Jeez.
Well, they trained me to do board last week.
Yeah.
And now here I am.
Okay, so JT, I got a question for you. So, and I made sure it was okay that I brought this on there because that's Sophia's world. I don't want to broach it, but she talked about when she came here, the people were great, but there's some people that aren't engaging with her. Like they're not communicating with her. They're playing everything tight. You know what I mean? They're not. And what I said was,
right.
I think in any workplace, you're going to get two kinds of people. You're going to get people that are going to reach out and welcome you because they've been new before too, and they understand that you're on pins and needles and you're on eggshells and you want to always make the best first impression. So you understand and empathize with that. There's other people that want to make sure that you earn your stripes. They're going to make sure you got to earn everything before we interact with you, before we commiserate with you. Now, JT, I'm of door number one. I believe first impressions are everything. So Sophia, JT, she may be the biggest star in the history of radio someday. You know what I mean? She may be the biggest.
Definitely do.
She may be the biggest voice we have ever heard. She may be the most entertaining, captivating personality in the history of the sports medium. And what I hope she remembers about me, other than butchering her last name 78 times, is that I'm somebody who treated her the right way. Because that's how I would want to be treated. I also understand there's an old school mentality. When you come to a new environment, there's going to be people that are going to want to fill you out. So where do you align with that? And what's your preference?
I'm a welcomer, right? Because again, I think we've all been that new guy at some point, right? And I always appreciate the person that's willing to kind of just say, hey, this is the ropes, this is how it is. It's already hard enough being new. You don't want anyone, for me, I don't want anyone else trying to make it harder on me. And I definitely always appreciate someone that is willing to say, hey, I know you're new. Let me try to make this transition as easy as possible. Because I also understand this. I don't get the best out of you until I know you get comfortable. So the sooner I can get you comfortable, the sooner I can really see who you are and what you really got to bring.
Preach.
Because otherwise you're kind of still being that nervous stage and all of that. And I'm trying to get you past that as fast as we can.
See, I know JT is a man of the world, Sophia. Is that do you find, by the way, is that something that you find in, and I'm just curious, I'm asking you a very honest, open question right now. Do you find it to be more challenging being a woman in an industry that's predominantly male? What is that like for you?
So, okay, people talk about this a lot, but okay, here's the thing. I'm Italian. I'm raised in New Jersey. I have a big, crazy, loud family. I don't take nothing from nobody. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's never kind of intimidated me to force my way into the world of radio. And that's kind of how I've had to get here. I have to kind of pry the door open with a crowbar, and I'm like, hey, it's so cool to meet you. I'm here now and I should work here. And then people are like,
love that.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So what you say is what you mean is what you say. You don't pull punches.
No.
What you see is what you get. And there's never second guessing with anything you're insinuating because you're always going to speak from your heart and you're going to wear your heart on your sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, that like, you know, I don't feel any kind of way about like, you know, being a woman in this industry, but it like makes me question like, oh, are people not being as friendly to me right away because I'm a girl? They think I don't like know about sports. They think like, why is she here? Like, what are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever.
Right.
But I'm here.
I respect your confidence.
Thank you.
And I respect how forthright you are about everything. It's a funny industry we're in.
Yeah.
There is jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
There is bitterness. I try not to go there, but it's tough when you've been here for as long as I have, right? I will tell you that, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on the air. The people down the hall, now they don't work here when we're working here, but I'm talking about our bosses.
Yeah.
They are salt of the earth people.
Yeah, they're cool.
They are cool as heck. And I'm going to
know.
say heck when I describe bosses, right?
Yeah.
They will always treat you with respect. They will always have your back.
Absolutely.
But this is a competitive industry. And fair or unfair, it's a lot of competition.
Yeah, 100%.
And so they see this young, compelling, well-spoken, you know, very entertaining person, like someone who is a personality. I knew it the first time we were talking. I could tell. And I think for some people, they're intimidated by that.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Do not change for 1 second. And honestly, it's fun to have you work the Good Shepherd.
Thank you.
And I'm telling you, you're gonna do a lot of things here. I have a very good feeling about that.
Thank you, sir.
So, no, just being real with you, Sophia. And I'm not going to say the last name again because I'm going to butcher that after getting it right 3 times.
That's all right. Let it go.
Right, there you go. So JT, so thanks for the words of wisdom, man. I know you're a man of the world, so I wanted to get your perspective on that. But speaking of man of the world, George Foreman, he was a man of the world. What was your takeaway from his life and legacy, man?
For me, it was the biggest thing is like, I wasn't old enough to see the young George Foreman, but I do remember watching documentaries and everything, and I think he was very serious at a young age.
He was. No, he was.
The evolution.
Yeah, and then he became the world's like most friendly person alive.
Exactly. And I think what happened is, and especially later in his life, is that he never took himself too seriously, and Sophia's got a little bit of that, right? Like, even though you can't get her name right, she's not
hey, I got it right 4 times. Wait. Sophia Gianniscali. No.
Gianniscali.
Oh my God, I'm so stupid! Get it right, Shep! Come on, it's a last name, it's 3 syllables. Stop making this so hard.
My man JT right there.
What are you doing? God.
All I'm saying is that was.
By the way, you're showing me up right now, JT. You're showing me up. I mean, you come out with like this, you get the pronunciation right the first freaking time. I mean, you should lead a linguistics class for as far as I'm concerned. God.
I just, when I hear stuff, right, because, I'm on the ADD spectrum, so when I just have to process things differently.
Yeah.
When I heard it the first time, I was like, okay, how are we going to do this? And it was like,
wait, time out. Sophia Gianniscali. That's how you say it. That's how you say it.
There it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm done. That's it. That's a lot. Listen, I don't have the new number down. I do have Sophia's last name though. So yes, JT. Just very quickly, your biggest impression of the NCAA tournament so far is what? Is it about the student manager Amir Khan? Is it about McNeese State? Is it obviously about Colorado State? Or are you as enamored by Duke as I am? Because I think this is their year, man. They're going to win for the first time since 2015. Tell me I'm right.
So being in Atlanta, I'm, SEC country, and I was, all in on Florida watching them, dominate in that tournament. But I haven't watched a lot of Duke, but then I watched them today, and that's a squad. They are going to be a problem for everybody, especially if Cooper is fully healthy and he can play at a high level. It's going to be rough. I know that Florida's got the big men, and that I've seen, and that they just send them at you in droves, but I think Duke is a all-around, squad, and it's going to be tough. I would love to see that as the final. So I'll be looking forward to that. Hey, I did want to say, See, there's that ADHD stuff. You know what? I'm just going to step on out, man. I definitely appreciate you, Shep, man.
Likewise,
You're the greatest,
JT.
dude.
Likewise, JT. Always a
right.
pleasure to talk with you, my man. And very impressive memory you got in terms of processing. Number to get aboard is 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Let's get to Jacob in Atlanta. Jacob, I appreciate the patience, man. What would you want to share about George Foreman?
Mr. Shepard, my brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Jacob. Other than butchering last names left and right, I'm doing okay, my friend. Thank you for asking.
I didn't even try, but I did tell her. I usually talk to Alex, producer Peat, but I told her she actually is doing a great doggone job.
I agree 1,000%, man. For her first time, she's hitting it out of the park, for sure.
Excuse me, I'm getting a little emotional, excuse me. But even before I get to my topic, which is really important to me, I want to say to you, I'm a man of my word. Just like when you told me Notre Dame's going to beat Georgia in the playoffs. You told me about Duke. We talked about it, I think it was last week or a week before that. I was talking about Rick Pitino, 16s, whatever. And I didn't believe you, right? And I saw this game. It's like, Cooper Flagg didn't get hurt. Man, you're right. You're right. I'm going to give you on that one because you've been on it for weeks. I'm just say that to you, right?
Thank you, Jacob.
But about George Foreman, the first time I met him, I actually sent you a tweet. It's my 9th year on Twitter. I just made my 99th tweet. And as you know, I keep my milestone tweets for special people, so I dedicated it to you. Okay.
Oh, let me see. Okay, yeah. I think I got it. Yep.
And
by the way, that's a damn good headshot you got, man.
Oh man, thanks, man. I appreciate it, my brother. I change it up every now and then. You know how it is. You know, being a black man in Atlanta, rocking Star David. I'm like a unicorn.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to have a unicorn before you have a quarterback. I mean, I hope Michael Penix Jr. is the answer. I know it's not Kirk Cousins. What you guys are doing with that, I will never understand. You guys
I hope we just get more than 31 sacks. Oh, my God.
Well, you guys gave him nearly $200 million, and he gave you 5 wins and sayonara.
Oh, my God. He gave us, a 5-game stretch with
horrible.
9 interceptions.
It was horrible.
4 fumbles and 2 pick sixes.
Yeah, he looked like a rookie, and not the Jaden Daniels kind, like the Peyton Manning kind that led the NFL in interceptions.
You're doggone right, my brother. I think he had 28. You're doggone right.
Yep, that's right. Good memory. 98. Good. Yeah, right. 26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. Good memory, Jacob.
So you know how I'm with numbers, but I just forgive me, I'm emotional because I don't get nostalgic and melancholy every time someone famous passes, but
sure.
The person I was able to meet and really talk to, like George Foreman, obviously, Nelson Mandela, and George Bush Sr., for example, at Morehouse. That means something to me.
Sure.
And when I met George Foreman, I'll never forget, Spike Lee used to screen his movies at Morehouse before they went public. And it's my senior year, and we got a chance to watch it, and afterwards, some of the student leaders, whatever. Excuse me, I'm getting emotional. But went up to the African American Hall of Fame to meet him, and he reached out, shook my hand, and it was like the Incredible Hulk grabbed me. Like that's how big he was, right? And no, seriously. And I'm not small. I'm 5'9". I'm short, but I'm like 220 now.
Right.
But I'm like,
that's like an NFL running back right there. 5'9", 220. You're going to be making someone's roster.
I still need to lose about another 12 more pounds, trust me.
Well, listen, we all can. You and me both. Trust me.
But he, even though he looked down at me, he wasn't looking down at me, right? And he's holding my hand, never let it go. He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Jacob Bentley." He said, "Oh, okay, Jacob Bentley, what do you major in?" I said, "Well, math and engineering." And he looked back, still holding my hand, and I wasn't going to let him know that it was hurting, obviously. But he looked right now the whole time, he said, "Wow, you must be smart. Tell me something smart," right? So I'm like, "Oh, my God, I'm so proud."
Yeah.
So I told him what we did at NASA last summer. I said, well, June 27th and July 13th, 95, we launched the Space Shuttle Atlantis, STS-71, STS-72, and I was able to write code for hexadecimal, and I'm just talking. And he's looking at me like, damn. And then he turned to Dean Gaff and said, "Y'all picked the good one," still holding my hand. And by the time, he had a Magic Johnson smile the whole time, man. And I really go my hand, you know how your fingers are all kind of crippled up, and you got the white marks on there.
Yeah. He lights up a room. It's a smile that can reach any atmosphere. that can go from end to end to any single vicinity that he's in. Magic Johnson, I mean, that smile, I still remember the first interview he did as an NBA player with Brent Musburger. And, you know, it's funny you bring up Magic, Jacob, because you look at what Magic has done post-career, and he's one of the 5 greatest players of all time in NBA history, in my humble opinion. And obviously, we know his incredible reign at Michigan State when he was only there for 2 years, but still was able to win a national championship over Indiana State.
I have him at number 2. MJ won in Magic 2.
Sure, fair enough. But the unique thing about Magic that you can never ever leave out of his life is getting what was once a death wish by some people, not most people, but some. You know, his lifestyle, people. You know, people questioned him, and back then, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. When you contracted the HIV virus, you were seen as someone that was dead man or dead woman walking.
Dead man walking.
And you look at what he was able to do. Like Jacob, I hope it's 50, 60, 70 years when we're talking about Magic in the past tense. But that's going to be an emotional.
Well, you know what?
But that's going to be Jacob. But that's going to be an emotional one for a lot of people.
I still have the Magic Johnson. I have the Olympic. Remember the Dream Team? I still have all the Dream Team. Olympic basketball cards, right?
Right. And Jacob, by the way, Jacob, we are held to a clock here. I wish I could.
I'm sorry.
No, do not apologize. Thank you for your poignant story. I wish we can keep talking. Unfortunately, we got to adhere to clocks. But you call back some other time, and I want to continue this conversation. Sound good?
Yeah, you know I'm going to always call you Mr. Shepard. I love you, my brother.
Love you too, Jacob. And thank you so much for sharing that heartfelt story with you and George Foreman. Rest in power, Big George. One of a kind. They don't make them like you anymore. They didn't make them anything like you before. So, unbelievable life. Number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN. That is 888-710-4476. I'll say that again slowly, 888-710-4476. You can always call our show. You can always get me at Shep on Air. You can always get us in our YouTube chat on the Infinity Sports Network. When we get back, we're going to continue to take your calls. Also got to show some love to Tom Izzo and Danny Hurley. Both made history. We'll tell you that this hour as well. This is The Good Shepherd on the Infinity Sports Network. You know we're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Man, Chef, man, he like the smoothest dude in America, man. I like dude, man. Cool dude, man.
This is the Good Shepherd.
This is the Good Shepherd on the Infinity Sports Network alongside Sophia Janoskoli.
Yes.
Yes,
You did it.
Thank you. Speaking of someone who did it, Rick Pitino. And when I say Rick Pitino did it, I'm not talking about his time when he did something that he shouldn't have back in the day while he was the Louisville men's head basketball coach. I'm talking about when he was the head coach of St. John's, because the man continues to defy all logic, all odds. Unbelievable showing for the Johnnies against Omaha, winning by 30 points. Yes, they're a 2 seed, so they're supposed to beat convincingly a number 15 seed. But how about R.J. Lewis Jr., the Big East Player of the Year for a reason? He was brilliant, 22 points, 8 rebounds. And you know St. John's is very, very prone to making a run for the NCAA title. They're that good this year. They really, really are. And their biggest problem is they don't have a strong tendency to come out of the gate swing. They always turn it on in the second half. They're not going to get away with that when it comes to that second weekend of the NCAA tournament, especially once you reach the Final Four. But for now, they can get away with it. Something that is thematic of the NCAA tournament, it's not just shooting the three effectively, it's how you defend it. They held Omaha to 5 of 36 from downtown. So if they can improve their rebounding, they're going to have a shot to win this tournament. They cannot give up 24 opportunities for second chance points. You know he's going to want to beat John Calipari, because the truth of the matter is Calipari, at his original stomping grounds, beat him twice when he was the Kentucky coach in the NCAA tournament when Rick Pitino was at Louisville. So that's going to be exciting. We're going to be all over that tomorrow. That I promised you. But in the meantime, let's hear from the ultimate second act. It's probably a fifth act right now in college basketball for Rick Pitino. This is Coach Pitino after the win for St. John's.
We didn't play particularly well because they're a tough team to guard, because we played great defense and kept giving up. Got them to take a lot of bad shots, and we didn't chase the loose ball rebounds. And what I told them, basically, they're going to see a team, the likes we haven't seen all year from a size, athleticism standpoint. And if we rebound like that, we're going to have a long night, so we've got to do a better job. You can't give up 24-second shots and play great defense like we did.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with the Calipari-Pitino matchup. You know, I've been critical of John Calipari, as you've heard me over the years, but I will say, for someone that started 0-5 against the SEC, for him to now be in the second round of the NCAA tournament is very special. They've now won 10 of their last 16 games. They become the 4th team ever to go 0-5 in a conference and then be in the NCAA tournament after the first round. It's a credit to Calipari. The reality is you have Jonas Adu, you have John L. Davis. They combined for 40 points, and they're able to get past an impressive Kansas team that many people believe was going to make a big run in the NCAA tournament at the beginning of the season. For them to knock out Kansas and the 2-time NCAA champion head coach Bill Self in the first round, it's impressive. Well done by Cal. Cannot wait for this matchup between Pitino and Calipari because they respect each other, but there is no love lost as well. Let's get to Rodney in Baltimore. Rodney, good morning, man. What do you have to say, sir?
Good morning. My condolences to the Foreman family and to the boxing world.
Well said.
Yes. I was listening to you, and you were talking about the first 16 to defeat a 1, and I think you said it was Purdue. It was UMBC beating Virginia.
That's right. That was 2018. Good, Rodney, you're 100% right. Great call on that, man. Good call. 2018. That's right.
Yes.
You're 100% right.
Yes. And Cooper Flagg did not miss 2 weeks. He missed 2 games. All I'm saying is,
Rodney, are you like Stat Boy? Are you calling to correct me on everything that I say?
No. I'm calling to help you, my friend.
Thank you, Rodney.
My vintage is a lot older than yours, and we stand upon shoulders of people that did things before us, and it seems like everybody wants to throw that away. You just can't do that.
That's well said.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, believe in the gift that you have, which is the present, but you wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the past.
Now the 2018 one, I totally blanked on. You're 100% right. Now, when I said 2 weeks, what I said was it felt like 2 weeks. Now, obviously, we know it was the beginning of the ACC tournament. He only played about a quarter, and then he missed the semifinal and the final.
I know. Sir, you're preaching to the choir. I know these things. Like I said, my vintage is a lot.
Well, Rodney, it sounds like you know everything about life. It sounds like you know the secret of life. It sounds like you know the purpose of life. It sounds like you know sports.
I can tell you the secret of life for me. I can't tell it for you. It's God. That's the secret of life.
Thank you, Rodney. That's well said. So, Rodney, let's get it back to sports for 1 second. When I look at the NCAA tournament, this is my big takeaway so far. This is why I'm surprised. With the advantage of having NIL and the easiness that it comes with transferring to school, and you don't even need an excuse of a family member being sick. You can just do it because you feel like it. It would seem that you would have more upsets because it's so easy for teams to get better within 50 days because you can transfer basically anyone you want. I'm surprised we've only seen 2 upsets so far, and I really only gathered 2.
It's based upon what the world is based upon, money. If you don't have money at your school, you're not going to get those people that you want. I'm surprised that we got what we got here. And for them to come together the way they did the Crab 5, you better watch out, buddy. They're on their way.
Don't
sleep on them.
That's right.
Don't sleep.
Rodney, so to echo what you were saying, and you're right, Fairleigh Dickinson was not the first 16 seed to defeat a 1 seed. That was UMBC to beat Virginia. And not only did they beat Virginia, but they smacked them by 20 points. You remember that? And
tell
then Rodney,
me about it.
And then tell our audience, and then you tell our audience the most incredible thing that happened from a Tony Bennett coach team in 2019 after losing by 20 to a 16 seed in the first round of the tournament. Tell them what they did the very next year, which is one of the most improbable things I've ever seen in any sport.
They should have done it the year before they won the damn title, man. Come on.
That's right. But
I'm from Baltimore.
That's right, Rodney. But remember, you remember that kid Guy though? He got fouled at the end of that game in the semifinal of the Final Four, and he had to make those free throws to put Virginia in the national championship against Auburn. You remember what I'm talking about?
Sure, but I'm not interested in Virginia. I'm talking about Baltimore, man. We talking about Baltimore.
Well, if we're talking about Baltimore, can you tell Lamar Jackson?
A lot of those.
Rodney, tell Lamar Jackson to stop turning the ball over in the first half of big playoff games.
No. You tell him. You tell him.
Okay.
You tell him. Okay.
Sounds good.
In the first half, he
got robbed of the MVP.
Balls that are snapped over his head. That's how he got hurt in that first playoff game. Okay. Don't laugh about Lamar Jackson, son. You're going to have to pull the monkey off his back one day.
I hear you. Rodney, it's good to talk to someone.
Have a great day.
You too, brother. Thank you very much, Rodney. Number to get aboard, again, 855. It's not 855. It's 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. I want to give some love to Tom Izzo. I want to make sure we give some love to Dan Hurley because he likes to get involved in altercations. He coached his ass off in the first round of the NCAA tournament, making it 13 straight. Could he make history? We'll tell you what that history is on the other side. We'll get back to your busy phone calls at 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. Before we do anything else, let's get to our latest sports flash. Here is, and this is a cool name too, Justin Rock.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Hey, David, the round of 64 coming to a close on Friday. The biggest upset, the 12-seed Colorado State stunning Memphis.
Out between the circles. Clifford picks up his dribble. Over to Evans on the left side. Evans looks back toward Clifford. Puts it on the deck. Dribbling left. Danger steps up. Evans step back three from the wing. Got it again! Kyan Evans with 21. 64-54. Colorado State up 10.
Call on the Westwood One NCAA radio network. Colorado State a 78-70 winner. New Mexico over Marquette 75-66. Alabama survives 15 seed Robert Morris 90-81. Iowa State downs Lipscomb 82-55. Maryland over Grand Canyon 81-49. Ole Miss holds off North Carolina 71-64. Baylor squeaks past Mississippi State 75-72. Top seed Duke dominates Mount St. Mary's 93-49. Cooper Flagg 14-7 in his return. Florida does the same 95-69 over Norfolk State. Kentucky over Troy 76-57. Arizona 93-68 winner over Akron. UConn's three-peat dreams alive, beating Oklahoma 67-58. Illinois over Xavier 86-73. Michigan State battles past Bryan 87-62. Oregon an 81-52 winner against Liberty. NFL Giants getting ready to eat some W's. Jameis Winston signing a 2-year deal worth $8 million per multiple reports. Giants still in on Aaron Rodgers, though. Rodgers did spend Friday at the Steelers facility. Brandon Cooks returning to the Saints, a 2-year, $13 million contract. NBA, Steph Curry, an MRI confirmed a pelvic contusion, no structural damage. He'll miss the start of the Warriors' 6-game road trip. Finals, Magic over the Wizards, 120-105. Rockets best the Heat, 102-98. T-Wolves throttle the Pelicans, 134-93. Thunder top the Hornets, 141-106. Spurs over the Sixers, 128-120. Mavs push past the Pistons, 123-117. Celtics clobber the Jazz without Jaylen Brown, 121-99. Suns had the Cavs their fourth straight loss, 123-112. Donovan Mitchell held to 2 of 18 shooting. Kevin Durant with 42. Blazers blast the Nuggets, 128-109. Clippers best the Grizzlies, 128-108. One NHL game, Penguins top the Blue Jackets 6-3. And in boxing, the two-time world heavyweight champ and Olympic gold medalist George Foreman has passed away at the age of 76. I'm Justin Rock.
This is Rich Eisen. Get all your sports talk on The Rich Eisen Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Always available on the free Odyssey app.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
are amazing, man. Every second I have to wait on the phone line for you, whether it's an hour or two, every second's worth it, man. Just get to talk to you.
Connor, feeling is mutual. All right? Know that.
This is the Good Shepherd.
Haven't heard from Connor in a while. Hope he's doing well, wherever he may be listening from. Number to get aboard. Man, I always go back to the 855, but it's not the number anymore. 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. Sophia, were you working shows with JR or Bart this week by chance?
Yes, I was, in fact.
Were they going back to the 855 a bunch?
Well, no, because we switched numbers. Wait, when was I last here?
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you weren't here this week.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It's because I was here.
It is such a reflex.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is ingrained in my brain. 855-212-4227. And that's not the number for the record, but it's going to take some time. 888-710-4476. What's not going to take time is getting to Brandon in Chicago. Brandon, always appreciate the patience, man. How you doing, brother? What you got for us, sir?
What's good, Shep? Thanks for taking my call.
Of course, man.
Sophia Janoskoli, thanks for taking my call as well.
Oh, now he's just showing off. Brandon, that was impressive. That was impressive, man. You have a gift. You have a gift of language skills. Good job.
You know what? I've had some Sophias as friends, so I guess I've had practice. But
well said.
I just wanted to get your opinion. I got an NBA take and NCAA. I guess we'll go NCAA.
Sure.
So I wonder what kind of effect do you think the NBA three-point attempts per game has had on the college tournament this year?
It's a great question. No, Brandon, it's had a huge impact because you're seeing teams shoot 30, 40 threes. Like, I don't remember the NCAA tournament ever being that. I remember the NCAA tournament being about the high motion offense and being about guys cutting back door and, screening for the screener. I don't remember seeing a back and forth game where you're going from 3-point line to 3-point line, and that's the, basic way that you're trying to score basketball. But clearly, this is a springboard for a lot of these guys to want to play in the NBA, so they're showing why their game would acclimate to the next level. So I get it from their perspective. I don't think it's the best thing in the world. Brandon, I don't get the sense that there's the same kind of buzz in this tournament as in years past. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. You're not seeing a lot of the upsets and stuff.
No, nothing. There's no Sister Jean. There's no Fairleigh Dickinson. There's no St. Peter's. So it doesn't have the same sizzle. Like, the best we got was Colorado State and McNeese State, and that's it's a 12 over a 5. It's nice, but it's not something that really captivates us. Like when George Mason made that Final Four run back in 2006 as a double-digit seed, that was exciting. When FAU made the Final Four, FAU, no one knows anything about Florida Atlantic University unless you go there or live right next door. That was something. I don't get the sense that we're getting anything like that this year.
For sure. I mean, St. John's, they average like 23s all year, but then they shoot 37, to start the tournament. So, I mean, whichever teams that shoot a high percentage, like that make a high percentage of threes, I think are going to do well this tournament.
Yeah, so Brandon, that's college's saving grace right there. If Rick Pitino can ride this wave, and I don't want to say ride the storm because it's anything but a storm right now for St. John's, because that guy's a personality. That guy is intense, man, and he's must watch. And if he can go deep in this tournament, that's going to be a compelling storyline the entire time. And we all love second acts. We all love comebacks. This guy was coaching in Lithuania or Greece like 5-6 years ago. So for him to be doing this at 72 years old, it's pretty special, Brandon.
For sure. You got that tenacity going, and you could look at it both ways too. So whichever teams are defending the three exceptionally well can go deep too, like, Florida or St. John. But for NBA, I was wondering, are the Clippers for real?
Yes.
And what kind of a path do they have, to making a deep run?
Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell, James Harden, Ivica Zubac, Derek Jones, and obviously Chris Dunn. That's their path. They are really good, and they're a dark horse. But Brandon, you and I both know this. It comes down to one man, and whether that man is going to stay healthy. And in recent years, he can't stay healthy if his life depended on it, and that's the Claw. If Kawhi Leonard can be durable, they're going to go far. I appreciate the question. Appreciate the back and forth, Brandon. You have a good rest of your morning, okay, sir?
You as well, sir.
Thanks, Brandon. Always good to hear from you, man. When we come back, want to show some love to Tom Izzo, want to show some love to Dan Hurley, and we're taking your calls as well, but also paying homage to George Foreman. That's next. Good Shepard coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Your love lifted me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love keep on lifting higher, higher and higher.
This is the Good Shepherd.
Yes, it is. Welcome back, everybody. This is indeed the Good Shepherd on the Infinity Sports Network. Number to get aboard, I'm going to have to continue to read this until I memorize it, is 888-710-4ISN. That is 888-710-4476. Rebranding is new. New is good, I think. I think it's good for the most part. I think you need change. I think anything is a constant. It needs change. What doesn't seem to change in the NCAA tournament is Tom Izzo winning in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations to him. He has now won more games than everybody not named And I remember that list. It's John Wooden, Coach K, Dean Smith, Roy Williams, and John Calipari, believe it or not. But he's one win shy of John Calipari. So when John Calipari eventually gets knocked out by Rick Pitino, Tom Izzo will move into a tie for 6th place with the most NCAA tournament wins. And I believe they're going to make the Sweet 16 minimum. So that would mean he's going to have the 5th most Sweet 16 appearances of all time in the history of college basketball. And those top 4, you got the 2 Carolina guys and Dean Smith, Roy Williams. You got Coach K, you got John Wooden. That is elite company. You've seen a lot of coaches bow out. And I don't mean bow out in a negative way, but put their hands up and say, I'm not dealing with this crap. I'm not going to mess with NIL. I'm not going to be a spokesperson for my school. I just want to coach. Well, you have guys like Boeheim, Coach K, Roy Williams, Tony Bennett, Jay Wright, that have stepped away, that didn't want any part of this, that felt like they could keep going from a coaching perspective, but didn't want to keep going because you had to do more than just coach. We obviously saw Jim Larinaga step down in the middle of the night. Well, that's why you credit someone like Tom Izzo, who's got to be close to 70 years old, by the way. And yes, people can knock him because he's only got 1 national title. Well, how many Sweet 16s does he have? How many Final Fours does he have? Tom Izzo, trust you me, is a very successful coach and continues to show while he is at the top of this game. I'm very impressed with him. Congratulations to Izzo yet again for being a number 2 seed and winning an NCAA tournament game. Here's the other one I'm really impressed with. Now, he had his histrionics and he had his fair share of pouts and tantrums in Hawaii, but I give Dan Hurley a lot of credit. You talk about Alex Caravan, someone that's been there for both championships. This is a very different UConn team. They're not loaded the way they were these past couple years when they ran away with the NCAA tournament twice and won every single game by at least 13 points. Well, they were able to take care of business on Friday and get at least to the round of 32. It's impressive. They find ways to win. I saw them against Creighton at the Big East. I did not like their chances winning an NCAA tournament game. So if you are UConn, you have an opportunity. If you are able to beat Florida on Sunday, it's not likely, but it's not improbable. If they're able to beat the 1 seed Florida Gators, Dan Hurley and the UConn Huskies will have won 14 straight NCAA tournament games. That is the 2nd most amount of wins consecutively in NCAA tournament history. The only team that eclipses that is the great UCLA Bruins with the Wizard of Westwood, a.k.a. John Wooden, back in the late 60s, early 70s when there was the bridge from Kareem to Bill. Special time for UConn basketball. Dan Hurley, you can say whatever you want about him turning down the Lakers job and ultimately making a mistake. But it's very, very impressive that he is still, with his best player being Alex Caravan, I don't even think he's an NBA guy, to go with this squad and continue to advance. If they are able to get past Florida, they absolutely have my vote for being the team of the decade. There's no argument to be made if they can get past another number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Before we get back to phone calls, I want to talk about Luka Doncic for 1 second. And Sophia, we got that Luka Doncic sound, I'm sure, so good. I want to make sure we play that. I don't know how Nico Harrison sleeps at night. I really, really don't get it. I don't understand why there wasn't more pushback from the NBA. You talk about David Stern being able to veto trades. I feel so bad for Dallas sports fans. Like, you talk about Kyrie being done for the season, Anthony Davis being done for the season, Klay Thompson, he's been ill. And I don't mean ill on the basketball court. I mean ill from like a temperature perspective where like his, body and immune system isn't up to par the way it should be if you're trying to play a professional basketball game. You look at what Luka's doing with the Lakers right now. You look at how he performed against the Denver Nuggets. They have had some all-time great players for that franchise. Kobe, LeBron. I'm not even talking about the 70s and 80s with the Showtime Lakers, with Jerry West, Gail Goodrich, Elgin Baylor, Will Chamberlain. You want to go back even to the days of Minneapolis Lakers with Mikan, Pollard, Martin, and of course Mickelson. I'm talking about recently. And Luka is playing his way back into shape dealing with the calf injury. He is the fastest Laker in the history of the franchise to 50 made threes. Since he is suited up for them, no Laker has more assists, more rebounds, more three-pointers made, more steals, and more points. And the Mavericks punted on him so they could get a 32-year-old that half the time can't even show up on a basketball court. No offense, but we all understand that's Anthony Davis at this point of his career right now. You watch Luka against the Denver Nuggets. He had 21 first-quarter points. How many other guys in the NBA can do that? How many of the other guys in the NBA could look anyone in the eye and not flinch for 1 second because they're that good? And you realize the best thing that could have happened to Luka Doncic was playing alongside a 22-year NBA veteran and LeBron James, whose greatness, his consistent greatness, is like something we've never seen before. And this is a man that invests millions and millions and millions of dollars into his body for him to be able to play so successfully for such a long time. And that's the team that you wanted to trade Luka to so he could be up close and personal and get that experience and get that waft of enthusiasm. This continues to be the most baffling, most astonishing, worst trade in professional sports history. And how Nico Harrison continues to be able to have access to Dallas Mavericks headquarters, how he still has a job, is beyond me. If I am a Dallas Maverick fan, and I mean this, I am not going to another game until Nico Harrison is gone. He does not deserve that job anymore. You cannot make a trade like that and live to tell about it. Now, you can say whatever you want about Luka Doncic being injured because he wasn't on the floor. Okay. Kawhi Leonard gets hurt. Anthony Davis gets hurt. It happens. It's the game of basketball. LeBron James is hurt right now. You gotta punish Luka, the guy that brought you to the NBA Finals before, on one leg. You're going to punish the guy that made all NBA team 5 consecutive years at 25 years old. That's the guy you elect to get rid of, and you just watch him against the Denver Nuggets, and it's just like shooting fish in the barrel with his ability to create contact, get to the foul line, get into the interior, make buckets, set up guys, facilitate, rebound, pickpocket guys as well. He's an underrated defender in terms of his eye-hand coordination and how quick he is with his hands. And I'm just looking at this game, and I'm thinking to myself, how in the world can you justify trading this cat in the middle of a season when you just made the NBA Finals? It is a trade that continues to look worse by the day, and it just makes you question how in the world Nico Harrison is still employed. And he tried to be all suave and cool and lighthearted about it when he made a joke at the press conference. Nico, this ain't stand-up at the Apollo. No one needs your jokes. The joke is you. The joke is you. And by the way, you were the same Nike executive that botched the Steph Curry deal because you didn't call him by his right name. I mean, there's a reason why I'm trying to say Sophia's last name for 20 freaking times differently, because I got to get her name right. That's her name. Oh, God.
Take it slow. Take it slow. Take it slow.
Sophia Janoskali.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But like the thing is, like that's someone's identity right there. Like their name. Like that's something that you got to get right. Doesn't matter if you've met them for the first time, second time, 10th time. And so when you're Nico Harrison, to have the audacity to not get Steph Curry's name correct and think that that flies as an executive at a major corporation, I'll never understand that. That same guy is in charge of your organization, and he just gift wrapped him to a rival in the LA Lakers that are going to have their superstar for the next decade plus. I watched Luka versus the Nuggets. There was nobody that could stay in front of him with how talented and skilled he is, and there was no one even close that had the impact that Luka Doncic has had. I love Steve Nash. I love Dirk Nowitzki. I love Michael Finley. You want to go all the way back to the days before that, Jim Jackson, Jason Kidd. You can talk about, guys like Rolando Blackman, Cedric Ceballos. There are so many all-time great Mavs. There has never been a Dallas Maverick with the skill set and the talent of Luka Doncic. And all you had to do, if you were dissatisfied or unhappy, was send a message. But you trading him, where you're getting 50 cents back on the dollar at that, how Nico Harrison still has a job, is beyond me. Just thought we'd say that. Luka, I believe, spoke after his performance against the Denver Nuggets. And so we like to play winners on the show. So it's basically you'll never hear from Nico Harrison. Here is Luka after his incredible performance against the Denver Nuggets, particularly in the first quarter when he had 21 points.
It's not strategy. It's just what the defense give you. So in the first, they were just switching and let me go 1-on-1. So I know at some point they're gonna double. So just that, I just gotta say, just play out of that. Then we play 4-on-3. We've been doing that great. So that's the game.
LeBron's been out for almost 2 weeks now. The fact that they are still one of the top 4 teams in the Western Conference, meaning they would get home court advantage in the first round, is all because of the greatness of Luka Doncic. This would have never happened if Anthony Davis was still on the Lakers roster. Number 2, get aboard, 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. When you look at this trade of Luka to the Lakers for Anthony, I can't stay healthy and on the court Davis, are you scratching your head as much as I am right now that Nico Harrison is still employed? I know you are. Let's get back to the busy phone lines. We got people that want to weigh in, not just on the Lakers, not just on the NBA, but certainly talking about, the NCAA tournament and, of course, reflecting and honoring the life of George Foreman, who unfortunately passed away yesterday at all too young an age of 76. R.I.P. champ. Let's get to Mike in South Carolina. Mike, it's always good to hear from you, man. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Shep. I didn't know that. I just heard it now. George Foreman passed away. Wow.
You didn't know that?
Class act. No, I just heard it now. No.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you don't have do you get alerts on your phone?
Alerts?
Yeah. I'm guessing no.
I do, but I'm in the 20th century. I don't have a laptop.
Okay.
I got my Apple phone, and it's like
Wait. You have an Apple phone, and you didn't get an alert that George Foreman passed away?
No, I was probably sleeping when it came on my phone.
Okay, fair enough.
It's there somewhere. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But you know what? I'll tell you, a nice lady working the phones, and I don't even watch the NBA anymore because there's too many variables with the NBA. Nothing like March Madness. Nothing like it. And you know what I'm going to say now, right? St. John's Redmen. I still call them the Redmen.
Just because we're in 2025, for the sake of the show, can you please just say the Storm? Thank you.
I'm not going to say the Storm.
Okay,
no,
just say St. John's. We all know who you're talking about there. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Nothing like March Madness. It's just everyone gets the vibe of madness. And Duke,
yeah.
I'm glad that kid is not off the with his injury. He's back.
Yeah.
And this kid number 2.
Yeah.
Wow. But hey, Shep, you got other callers going. I'm driving over the Intercoastal Bridge right now. So
Look at you doing 2 things at once. You're the ultimate multitasker. You may not get alerts on your phone, but you definitely know how to multitask, Mike. Well, we appreciate the phone call. Continue to enjoy at the tournament, and I have a good feeling your St. John's, you know what, are going to go very far with Richard Pitino, man. I appreciate you, Mike.
Can I say one more thing, Shep?
Yes, you may, sir.
Who I can't stand, and they're facing off against each other. John Calipari always called him a wannabe Rick Pitino.
I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's because they're both so well dressed, Italian. I never got why that's such a heated rivalry. I never understood that. Yes, I understand one guy had success at Kentucky, and then another guy eventually followed him, even though he didn't follow him right away. But there's respect they have for each other. You know that. But I don't understand why they dislike each other so much.
I don't know. I think it's just a bad vibe, and. Sometimes you got the good mojo, and sometimes you got the bad mojo.
But Mike, they're also superstars. Like when you think of 2 coaches right now, they probably have the biggest auras of any coach in college basketball. Now that Coach K's gone, Roy Williams is gone. I think these are the 2 stars in college basketball. I really do.
I can't disagree with you, Shep. I can't disagree.
Yeah. Something tells me you're going to be watching this game.
I definitely will.
Good, Mike. Good. Well, enjoy it, man. But I'm telling you right now, St. John's is going to pull through. That I'm telling you. So
I like that vibe. And you know what, Shep, you got the mojo. That's why I keep tuning in.
Thanks Mike. A lot. You do too, man. I appreciate the kind words and best of luck in your travels over that bridge. And God bless you for being able to call and drive that truck the way you are, man. That's talent. Let's get to Alex in Miami. Alex. Always good to hear from you, brother. You had Beck bringing you up, man. Apparently Beck's a fan of you, so keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I'm a fan of Beck. Shout out to him.
He's the man. He's the man.
Hey, repeat after me. Sophia.
So that's the easy part. But I know how to say it now. Gianascali.
No, you got it wrong.
Oh my god. Oh, this is embarrassing. Are you sure are you sure I got it wrong? Gianascali. Yeah. No?
Gianascali.
Did he get it right? He didn't get it right either. Say it again.
Gianascali.
I practiced like 10 times.
Gianascali. See, you, Alex, Alex, I blame you for this. Because even if I was going to get it wrong, I didn't plan on saying it one more time because God knows I've made a fool of myself enough of this. And then you had to go bring it up and throw me under the bus. Man, what kind of friend are you?
I'm sorry about that. I practiced it like 10 times and I still got it wrong.
I don't know. Look, I don't know what it is. It's such a lovely name. I can't get it if my life depended on it. Gianascali. Okay. Gianascali.
Yeah. It's my accent.
You know, Alex, my last words in my dying breath, I did it my way. I had a great life. I can't complain. I got to do this. I got to do the real thing. And I'm going to say, Gianascali?
At least you're giving it 100%. You're working with great names today. With Justin Rock, that's a great name.
I know. Well, it's funny because I've never worked with either of them. So it's and I got a new number. So it's just like all these things that are new, but you got to adjust with the time. So yeah, Justin, you can tell he hasn't worked here because he calls me David. So I don't know how many people know me as David. So that was an interesting thing to hear. Oh, I'm David. Cool. It's good to know. Good to know. By the way, speaking of not new, what is up with your Heat, man? Why do they always? I mean, what are they 1-11 in the last 12 games now?
Well, we would be playing good if we only played 3 quarters instead of 4, right?
That's right. You guys have 12 or 13 blown fourth quarter leads this year, and that's an NBA. That's an NBA high. That's not an NBA high that you want.
No. But you know what? Better times will come, I guess.
Yeah, I guess they wanted to give Pat a really good happy 80th birthday. I guess mission accomplished.
We got to thank Jimmy Butler for that one.
Well, the Heat have some culpability there too because they got in the Jimmy Butler business. They got in that business, and Alex, that business is a ticking time bomb. He is a godsend whenever he gets to a franchise. He delivers the goods, but then Jimmy Butler always wants something better, and if it doesn't go his way, he's not a team player. He then becomes 1,000% all about Jimmy Butler. So that's what you guys deserve.
I knew it. The best predictor of the future
is the past.
Is previous documented history.
That's well said.
I knew it was going to happen all over again.
Well said, Alex.
Yep. Let me ask you a question. Justin Rock, that gentleman, is he related to the wrestler The Rock?
No, because his last name would be Johnson if he was related to The Rock.
That's true. Maybe you could give us some WWE updates or something.
Maybe. But it's not. But it wasn't. His last name is really like Rocksheimer, I think.
Yeah, I heard at the beginning of the show, yeah.
Because his grandpa changed it during World War II. I don't know why he would change it. It's a beautiful name. I mean, Rock is cool too, but Rocksheimer, I mean, that has a really cool ring to it,
Well, he says that it rolls better off the tongue, when you say Rock.
I mean, it's just two extra syllables. Shimer.
It's just like you going by Shep. It's the same difference.
Yeah, but you can call me Shepard. You can call me whatever you want, just not late for dinner, especially if it's tuna. I don't know why people give me a hard time about eating tuna one time on the show. It's like every time I got to look at this freaking chat, I got to see someone reminding me that I eat out of a cat can. That's not true.
It's not that you ate tuna; it's that you ate tuna out of the vending machine.
What's wrong? So Alex, if we shouldn't eat tuna out of the vending machine, why is it there? It's not like I go down the street to a vendor to like a food cart and get this like outdated, obsolete tuna. I get it in the confines of the Infinity Sports Network, and somehow I get raked over the coals and mocked because of that. Hey man, it's the closest thing we have to protein. And God knows I'm a guy. I gotta look strong. I gotta look the part. I gotta bulk up.
How about using your George Foreman grill before you get to work and make yourself something protein?
See, now that's called what we call in radio a professional transition. Well done, Alex.
There you go. I just wanted to reflect a little bit on George Foreman, which, by the way, I did use my George Foreman today as a tribute to him.
That's awesome.
And it worked.
That's awesome.
I hadn't used it in I don't know how long. But before boxing was boxing, you know, when he was in boxing, it was really it was a better brand. Boxing nowadays sucks, you know, to be totally honest with you. And he had a good run. He had the good old days. It's incredible what he did, that he was able to take so long off the sport, come back and win a championship. That's something that's admirable. You know, that's something that we will probably see again in our lifetime. Somebody that takes that long off any professional sport comes back and wins a title. That's something that we're not going to see anymore.
No,
I guarantee you.
No, and Alex, to your point, like, this is when boxing mattered. Like that, the Rumble in the Jungle was one of the most viewed events ever, and it has like the most iconic call. Like, you know, the Down Goes Frazier.
We're never going to get those times when you're blowing a kid, you're blowing it. When Duran with a no mas, those days are gone.
Right. Right with Duran. That's right. And you had Hearns and Hagler.
When Lou Duva told Sugar Ray, "You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it," and then after that he came back and I think it was Thomas Hearns.
Yeah, and I you know, the guy that we got to bring up is Sugar Ray Leonard. I mean, that to me, the time of the '80s and with the middleweights, that was the creme de la creme in that division. I think in the history of boxing. Yeah, I mean, I'm ashamed to admit this. I know it's not the Klitschko brothers anymore. I know it's not Wilder. I could not tell you who the heavyweight champ is. I'm not going to lie to you. It's embarrassing. I should know this, but I know it's not Wilder. I know it's not Klitschko like it used to be. I should know this, man. This is embarrassing. Hold on, Alex. Heavyweight champ of the world. If I see it.
Oh, the heavyweight champ. Nobody knows who he is. Yeah, I know.
Let me see. Yeah, I've no Daniel Dubois. I have no idea. Okay, Usyk I've heard of. I've heard of him. I have heard of him. I know who that is. Daniel Dubois. See, that's the other problem. You got 5 freaking champions for every weight class. So it doesn't have the same exclusivity that it used to have, you know?
No. It's boxing. Boxing is a thing of the past. Maybe this UFC guy, he said he was going to try to bring it back. Let's see.
Yeah, Alex, always a great call, man. Enjoy the tournament on Saturday. We'll talk soon, okay, my friend?
Hey, Shep, I called Duke to win the tournament, and everybody told me, all my friends told me I was crazy. You know what? I think I'm on the right track.
You are on the right track. Speaking of right track, Alex, how about this? Janoskally. How about that?
Janoskally.
There you go. I'm going to get it right. It only took a whole 4 hours. Alex, love you, buddy.
Take care, man. Love you.
Love you too, man. Appreciate Alex in Miami, as always. Number to get aboard. It's not 855, not that. It is 888-710-4476. That is 888-710-4ISN. I've been saying the number for 4 years on the air, so give me a little bit of patience with this new phone number. But that is the number to join our busy program. When we get back, we got people that have been waiting patiently on hold. We're going to get you your calls. We're going to honor George Foreman again for those that missed it in the first hour. This is The Good Shepherd on the Infinity Sports Network. And you know, per usual, we're coming right back.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Derek, good morning. What do you have for us, sir?
Mr. Shepard, the kindest, most generous national talk show host in the country. You're amazing, brother.
This is the Good Shepherd.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Again, just want to pay tribute to George Foreman. He was someone that was larger than life, and he passed away, unfortunately, yesterday at the all too young age of 76 years old. There's a few things that stand out to me about George Foreman. It's not just how devastatingly intimidating he was when he first got called up, won a gold medal at 19 years old at the 1968 Summer Olympics, then a heavyweight champion of the world, not too long after that. And then he dusted Joe Frazier. He dusted him. And we actually have that call on... This is ABC, and this is the voice of Howard Cosell. It's about 20 seconds long, and nothing surprised Howard Cosell. He had seen it all. He was a really successful attorney in New York, and for him to be this surprised by a result like this when Joe Frazier went up and then right down on the canvas, you knew this was something that we had never seen before or even anticipated would happen. This is how that sounded, courtesy of ABC.
Angie Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! The heavyweight champion is taking the mandatory 8 count, and Foreman is as poised as can be in a neutral corner.
That gives me chills. And I've heard that call, like many of you, probably 100 times a year. Foreman was so confident. He was so composed. He was so cool. He didn't show any emotion. And then the rumble in the jungle happens, and the invincible human being all of a sudden looks vulnerable. And Ali rope-a-doped him, beats him in 8 rounds. Foreman retires not long after that. Now he beat Joe Frazier again. And then he makes an incredible comeback. And he comes back more than a decade later, but he comes back and wins his first 11 fights. It's incredible. And you talk about George Foreman at the time, he was willing to go up against the best. He wasn't looking to duck anyone. So he fights Evander Holyfield, who was the baddest man on the planet at the time. Foreman loses, but he takes him the distance. And then he eventually gets that heavyweight title at 45 years old against Michael Moorer, who was 20 years younger than him. It was an absolutely incredible career. But that was a warm-up act to what he would do later on. You've heard so many people call this show and talk about George Foreman, the entrepreneur, the businessman, with 100 of millions of units sold with that George Foreman grill, a father of 12, what he did for the ministry. He lived such a fulfilled life. And he was a star in the ring. He was an even bigger star out of it. And the one thing that is so memorable to me is when he would be involved in interviews with Muhammad Ali, with Joe Frazier later on in life, and you could tell the sport of boxing really did a number on Frazier and Ali. But once you put George in that mix, he brought out the youth in both of them, and they would light up. And it was the epitome of what a brother's keeper looks like. So an incredible life, so well lived. And one other thing stands out. I was fortunate enough to be working with JR at the time, and we had George Foreman on. And I'll never forget this answer. And this is a guy, again, who is a millionaire times over, has done everything you can in the sports world. He was an amazing commentator for HBO for over a decade. He was an amazing businessman. There's nothing this guy did where he didn't get to the top of. And still, in his mid-70s, for him to have an answer like this is George Foreman in a nutshell, because he never stopped striving for greatness, no matter what point of his life he was at. This is courtesy of the JR Sport Brief. This is a couple years ago when we were called CBS Sports Radio.
At this stage of life, what else is there that you want to go out and accomplish?
Well, I put both feet on the floor every morning and think, man, you got to do something with your life. I always think there's another hill to climb. I have not made it yet. I'm interested, trying to do things. I got business ideas going. I still want to make it. I don't feel like a success yet. No way.
George Foreman is here. That's surprising to hear that you don't feel like you're a success. Why is that the case?
Because it's all about tomorrow. You turn a book one page after the other. You never go back and reread those pages that you've already turned time on and life on. You move on. I got to turn another page. I got to do better.
We're always told to do resets, so you always want to give the phone number again. If there's a voice, it doesn't matter how notable or prominent that voice is, you always want to make sure you accredit that voice. JR was in the middle of doing a reset, and he had to do like a double take and say, wait a minute, did George Foreman just tell me he's not satisfied with what he's accomplished? There's more to do. And like JR is as cool as they come. He's as collective, he's as smooth, he's as professional as they get. And even in the middle of JR doing a reset, he's like, wait a minute, did I just register that properly? Did George just say there's more for him to accomplish, that he's got more up his sleeve, that he's still hungry, that he's not satisfied? And That's amazing because George Foreman, I don't know if y'all know this, but he had a net worth of almost $500 million. So it's a huge loss for the boxing community. It's a huge loss for the sports world. But rest in peace, George. You made it to wherever you're supposed to make it with the life that you led. That I'm positive about. Let's get to Gary in New Hampshire. Gary, thanks for your patience, man. Go ahead, sir.
I don't know what to say, Shep. I mean, I am enjoying listening to you. It's just incredible. I'm just talking about you for a moment. I mean, you are such a breath of fresh air, and I keep repeating this. I'm 61 years of age. I haven't heard anybody like you in the longest time in sports talk radio.
Appreciate it.
We had a guy in Boston. I don't know if you ever heard him. His name was Eddie Andelman.
No, I have not heard of him. No, I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, you can look up his bio. I don't know if he's still alive, but he's 85 years old, and he added comedy to it and everything. He was on for 30 years.
Wow.
Let me get back to, you look it up. I'm sure you'll find him. George Foreman, I have a question, okay? And I don't want to be disrespectful here, but George Foreman, when he came back into boxing after the age of 40 years old, did he need the money?
No, he did not. No, he did not. Because Gary, here's how I know that. He was whatever you feel about him, whether he was too quiet, too reluctant to speak, be a personality, he was still one of the most devastating heavyweight champions of the world at a time where boxing was one of the three main sports. So because of that, he could have made so much money on speaking appearances. Anyone would have lined up to give him a job because he's George Foreman. Everybody knew who he was. He was the heavyweight champion of the world. He was going toe-to-toe with Muhammad Ali. Yeah, he lost in 8 rounds, but he still went toe-to-toe with him. He beat Joe Frazier not once but twice, and he had, the primary responsibility for that famous Howard Cosell call that we just played you. So he didn't need to go back into the ring for monetary reasons. He needed to go back into the ring because he wasn't finished in that particular aspect of his life. And my God, did he make sure he got everything out of that body in his mid-40s to late 40s when he ultimately went 11-0 when he first got back and then ultimately took the heavyweight champion title again at 45 years old, which, Gary, no one had ever done before in boxing history.
My God, I have to say this. I know I'm buttering you up like crazy and so forth, but there's a reason. And everybody who's listening who is a fan of you, you talk like a typewriter, and you don't stop. The fluency that's out of your voice, it's not written in front of you. Where did you come up with this way of talking with such confidence?
Well, Gary, first of all, I really appreciate the kind words, and I know you're genuine in what you're saying. For me, this is something that I've done for quite some time, so it is natural, but I also, I love it. It oozes out of me. It's like I want to jump at the edge of my seat and talk about this till the cows come home. Like if Sophia didn't have to play this update music, like I'd continue to talk for the next hour and a half. Like this is what gets me going. This is what my juices flow. This is what makes me passionate about life. And what I really like is talking about people that have been knocked down, because he was knocked down literally and figuratively. And for him to make the second act that he did, it's one of the great second acts in the history of American culture, not just sports. So for me, I get excited about talking about it. But Gary, it is a pleasure to talk to you. You are a breath of fresh air too, with your heartfelt words, man. And I just appreciate you, brother. You have a good rest of your Saturday, okay, man?
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Gary. Number to get aboard, got to look this up. This doesn't come out of my mouth easily. 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. Sophia Janoskali. There we go. Good job, Shep. Way to stay with it for the last 3.5 hours. We're going to get to your calls on the other side as we finish the show. It's fun YouTube chat, by the way. I told you they're characters. You believe me now.
I do.
Yeah.
I understand.
Oh yeah. And they're big fans of you from what I see.
I know. We're having a good time over here in the YouTube chat.
Good. Happy to hear that. Those guys and gals are characters. We'll get to your calls on the other side. Before we do anything else, let's get to our latest sports flash with another cool name. Here's Justin Rock.
Infinity Sports Network. Sports Flash.
Hey, David, round of 64 in the men's tournament coming to a close tonight. It was a nail-biter down to the wire between St. Mary's and Vanderbilt.
It's picked off the ground by Huffman.
No timeout.
7 seconds to go. Huffman throws out. McGlockton a 3. Shot no good. Rebound down to Ross. And that is the ball game. St. Mary's hangs on.
Call on the Westwood One NCAA radio network. Gales survive 59-56, 12-seed Colorado State, the biggest upset of the day, 78-70 over Memphis. Michigan State, big second half, downs Bryan 87-62. Oregon over Liberty 81-52. UConn wins their 13th straight tournament game, 67-59 against Oklahoma. Illinois clocks Xavier 86-73. 10-seed New Mexico over Marquette 75-66. Alabama survives 15-seed Robert Morris 90-81. Iowa State downs Lipscomb 82-55. Maryland over Grand Canyon 81-49. Ole Miss holds off North Carolina 71-64. Baylor squeaks past Mississippi State 75-72. Top seed Duke dominates Mount St. Mary's 93-49. Florida does the same 95-69 over Norfolk State. Kentucky over Troy 76-57. Arizona a 93-68 winner over Akron. NFL, a new QB for the Giants. Jameis Winston reportedly gets a 2-year deal worth $8 million. Giants not out of the Aaron Rodgers running, though. The 41-year-old did spend 6 hours visiting the Steelers facility on Friday. Brandon Cooks returning to the team that drafted him. The receiver getting a 2-year, $13 million contract from the Saints. NBA, Steph Curry underwent an MRI to confirm a pelvic contusion. No structural damage. The Warriors guard to miss the start of their 6-game road trip. Finals in the NBA, Magic over the Wizards, 120-105. Rockets best the Heat, 102-98. T-Wolves throttle the Pelicans, 134-93. Thunder top the Hornets, 141-106. Spurs over the Sixers, 128-120. Mavs push past the Pistons, 123-117. Celtics clobber the Jazz without Jaylen Brown, 121-99. Suns hand the Cavs their 4th straight loss, 123-112. Kevin Durant with 42. Blazers blast the Nuggets, 128-109. Clippers best the Grizzlies, 128-108. One NHL game, Penguins top the Blue Jackets 6-3. And in boxing, the 2-time world heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist George Foreman has passed away at the age of 76. I'm Justin Rock.
Hey, sports fans, Bart Winkler here on the Infinity Sports Network. Check us out 24/7 on your smart speaker. Just say play Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hey, man. Love your show. Truck driver here.
This is the Good Shepherd.
Welcome back, everybody. David Shepard on the Infinity Sports Network. Number to get aboard, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. If you cannot get through the busy phone lines, you can always follow me at Shep on Air on social media or any platform available to you. Let's get to Marshall in Milwaukee. Marshall, thanks for your patience, man. What do you have to say about your Tar Heels? That's disappointing, huh?
Well, I was down there today, Shep, and good to meet your new producer. I told her that already, and it was disappointing. I just think right now, I'll comment real quick on George Foreman too. It's just a case that they need more players. They need more big. That was the general consensus. I talked to Carolina people from all over the country today, Shep, and you appreciate how big the Duke Carolina thing is.
Oh, I do.
National and international.
Oh, yeah.
And it was proof positive today. I met some wonderful people from Minnesota, New York, here in Wisconsin. It was a great time. I had a great time, but the thing that just has killed us all year, we just can't put 40 minutes of basketball together. And I'm in Hubert Davis's corner right now.
As a person, yes, but as a coach, he doesn't have that edge, Marshall.
I get you. I think we'll see what happens next year, and we've got some good players coming. They are have improved the front office there, and because we've been a reluctant dragon, as you know, about all this NIL stuff, and I'm at heart with that. But we have to. It's kind of use it or lose it. We're going to have to do it in the cleanest way possible. I think we can, and hopefully next year we'll do better. But I'm sorely disappointed. I really thought we beat Ole Miss.
I thought you would too. And you kicked their butts in the second half. The problem is you don't know how to get started out of the gate, and you don't take it seriously, and there's no sense of urgency.
People around me that I was watching it with were saying, Marshall, there's a whole nother half. And I said, look, I know. I've seen this movie all year.
Right. And you got it to within two at one point, too, which is... yeah.
I said winning the game, though, was going to be very difficult. You cannot spot quad one opponents, 18 and 20-point leads, and it's going to work out most of the time.
You're right.
That's just...
Marshall,
that's the way it is.
I want to talk to you about this longer at some point, so call back tomorrow if you can, but it's good to hear from you, man. You sound like you're in good spirits, you got good health, and I'm really happy to hear that.
I'll give you my Final Four real quick. I've got Duke, St. John's, Auburn, and Tennessee, and I've got Duke and St. John's in the final. But I'll tell you what, Florida is right there. It won't shock me if Florida gets there. But I have Duke winning it. It pains me to say it, of course, as a Tar Heel, but I think Duke is really, really good.
But you're objective. Marshall, great to hear from you as always, my friend. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Marshall. Always good to hear from you, man. Let's get to Thomas in Florida. Thomas, good morning, brother. I see you in the chat, man. Go ahead. What you got for us?
I'm actually back in lacrosse now. I literally just got back not even like 15 minutes ago, so I'm just on a nice little early morning walk, maybe to Taco Bell, grab something to eat. My phone is at 1%, though, so I got to make my points really fast.
Go for it.
One, had great beach evangelism down in Panama City Beach, Florida. We had like 65 people saved. 2 of our student leaders got baptized. So praises there. And I'm going to make this super quick because I don't know when the phone's going to die. One, I'm loving what I've seen in the March Madness. Obviously, McNeese over Clemson. If I talk quick, I'm just making sure I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Round of 32 tomorrow. Badgers should get the win there. I'm trying to make it quick, too, because I know you're up against it. 2 minutes maybe before you get the heck out of here for the evening. So I will make it quick. Number 3, to echo off callers, before I leave it, I'm just going to lather you with love, too. I love what you bring to Sports Talk Radio. David Shepard, you son of a gun. Your smooth, calm voice really inspires me as I go in sports broadcasting. I had actually like a nice 6-minute conversation with Sophia. Sophia, producer, is actually really sweet. So,
she's great.
We exchanged information over LinkedIn, and I think I'm going to end it there before my phone actually dies. Always good to hear from you, though.
Thanks, Thomas.
Take care, brother. All
Thanks,
right?
man. Thanks for the kind words, and you're right. Sophia has done a wonderful job. Alan in Toronto, I want to make sure we get to you. We got 50 seconds, so make it quick, my friend.
He was a commentator for HBO. Was for 13 years with Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant, and he was an absolute straight shooter. If he didn't like something, he would say it, and he was not a phony baloney by any means.
Right.
And he's predeceased by his daughter Frida. She passed away in 2019 at age 42, committed suicide. And he was married for the last 40 years. He was married for 5 times and married for the last 40 years to Mary Martelli, and since 85. So he lived a pretty good life the last 40 years. But he was grossly overweight. I'm surprised he lived as long as he did, because I kept seeing him in Canastota for quite a number of years.
Alan, you break it.
He had to be about.
You break it down like nobody else. We're running out of time, but we'll talk at some other point very soon, man. Thank you for the phone call. You have a good rest of your Saturday, okay?
Yeah, great. Always great talking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Alan. Love you, man. Sophia Janiscali, great job on the 1s and 2s producing, folks. Great to be with you. Thank you to everybody who called. Thank you to everyone in the YouTube chat. Carrington Harrison, he's coming up next. I love you all. Talking 20 hours. This is Good Shepard. I'm out.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.